OfferLab Road to Certification. The live review of Hook Story Offer with Russell Brunson. Now, we're doing a special edition of OfferLab, the Real Talk, Real Stories, Real Results live virtual conversation with Adriane Mays. I was inspired as in the school community of OfferLab, the whole idea of growth and collaboration, you don't have to do it alone. And so, in regards to knowing that the road to certification is one part of the process when you're growing and building your billionaire brand with Adriane Mays and doing any type of consultation with me, I wanted to show people the how behind the whole strategy. Because, again, when you have a one on one strategy with myself, and in regards to consulting with Adriane Mays, the whole idea is to turn your authentic story, your raw story, into a sales system ready to grow faster with less overwhelm. So it's not just a typical consulting call. However, to be able to give you a roadmap to get to your next opportunity, but live conversation, AI webinars in OfferLab, that's how we're going to actually get to our end result. So what we're going to do here today for the OfferLab Road to Certification is we're going to watch live and do a review of the Russell Brunson Hook Story offer course that's provided when you go through the OfferLab certification. And any comments or replay, you'll be able to drop them here as well, because again, the whole idea is to grow together. And this is a great fit for you if you have an offer or you need help creating one. You want to turn your voice into an automated sales machine. You need clarity or accountability on support on your next steps. You want help using OfferLab, Go High Level, Freedom Funnel, or Go Webinars, or any of the AI tools that will be a part of the AI Cash Story Dream Team. You're ready to grow with a mentor who's walking the walk. And you want to host a live virtual conversation, but just doesn't know where to start. So, want to be able to give you the opportunity to get started with Adriane Mays. The link is on the screen here. And, you'll have different options in regards to the whole, process. The OfferLab sign up, OfferLab certification, the one-on-one consulting with Adriane Mays, as well as the AI Cash Story Ultimate offer, which includes the OfferLab certification. So we're going to jump in here today and go right into the OfferLab certification VIP bonuses that I watched yesterday. And the one that we're going to focus on is the Hook Story Offer course. We're going to watch this live together. And when you invest into OfferLab, you're able to receive this course as well to watch on your own, as well as you'll have this YouTube live going through the review of it. Now, the purpose of us even connecting in regards to this idea on OfferLab, you don't have to do this process alone. And when I was watching the course yesterday, and I wanted to be very authentic and honest in regards to my journey in regards to growth of building the billionaire brand with, CCC Elevate You of being the change. I want to show people how to get there. You have to do the work. It's nothing around it. So it inspired me to actually do an OfferLab edition of upcoming live virtual conversations. And so what that will include is just empowering professionals to transform their personal journey into a powerful marketing tool by learning how to share authentic stories that build trust, attract ideal clients, and increase visibility online and offline. So guess who'll show up to answer the question, what excited you about OfferLab? Talk about the direction you decide to go into, affiliate, creator, combo, broker, or super funnel. And if you have an OfferLab super funnel, what's in it? And so the idea branched from me watching this Hook Story offer course yesterday with Russell Brunson, a part of the AI Cash Story Dream Team coaching team. And so, so what developed is to have these live conversations during the month of September in the actual different categories that are already in OfferLab. So what I did was I was proactive in the school community where there's over 7,000 people that are already raised their hand for OfferLab. And since I already do the live virtual conversation series on Tuesdays, the whole idea was like, hey, it's a great idea to actually grow your live virtual conversations. And on Tuesdays, yes, but this is going to be a special edition, just like I did the special edition for my 46th birthday with the birthday edition. So with this OfferLab special edition, it's an addition to what I do already on Tuesdays, live virtual conversation with Adriane Mays, where people show up authentically and tell their story. And the whole purpose of this series is to allow people to own their truth and to be a part of the actual story or the origin story, as well as the building story of their billionaire brand as well. So each and every person, whether they're a CEO, consultant, creator, or a coach, or someone in real estate, or any part of, because everyone has real estate, right? Real estate of your mind. And so as people are growing and building their billionaire brands, working with Adriane May's AI Cash Story Captain, I'm in the trenches with you. So as the captain, when I was watching the Detroit Lions game yesterday, so Goff and Ramsey Brown jumped into the stands, and it's a team effort in order for you to get there. You can't do anything by yourself. You can, but it's easier to do it with a team. So Russell Brunson actually creating something called OfferLab, it allowed me to mentally take my mental step a step further with my live virtual conversations to be able to offer that to special guests in OfferLab, and to allow people to grow and build their billionaire brand with Adriane Mays. And so having those opportunities, having those benefits, and already doing it, kind of branching and growing from there. So I wanted to kind of showcase the where that came from, and, in regards to the school community as well, just having that thought process. And then we're going to jump right into the actual course, because what you'll see is, here in the OfferLab community, there's over 7,700 members. And, within that, you're able to have posts and be able to grow your brand. And so I did put a post in here that, actually asked the members to, put a poll in regards to what direction they're going into. Of course, I can't find the actual post here when I'm doing things live, but hey, that's how things go sometimes. Let me, the other way. So this is over 7,700. And as you can see, it's an active community on school. You get involved and you take action for what's best for your brand. And so let me Google myself here real quick and see if I can bring up the question that I put into the community here earlier today. And then that way, you'll be able to kind of get an idea of what it was. So poll time, what role are you playing in OfferLab? And I'm asking community members to drop their story below. And so what was the reason that got you so excited about OfferLab? And we had one person vote right now as well, Brett Nail. And whether you jumped in because of the affiliate playouts, the ability to package your story into a product, or the chance to finally build passive income without tech headaches. So in regards to that, it could be a creator listing your own offers, an affiliate promoting others, a combo, or a broker. So you could be building a super funnel, right? So just getting notes of where people are in regards to their opportunity. That's the reason and thought process behind where we are right now. So what we're going to do is jump right into the Hook Story Offer course that is offered to VIP members. And this here is the marketplace, because in the marketplace, there's going to be all different kind of offers. And so when I was watching this yesterday, I was like, there's Explore, e-commerce, digital goods, courses and coaching and experiences. So those live virtual conversations are going to be broken up into people that have offers within these different categories. Because when affiliates jump in, I want them to have a place where they can actually come and don't have to spend hours going through the marketplace. And if they have someone that's active in regards to their offer, they can just Google Adriane Mays, because as the OfferLab, seeing this collaborative opportunity being amazing, that OfferLab, that Russell Brunson has provided, I want to provide that outlet. So let's get right into the actual course here. People don't want to listen to me talk any longer. So Hook Story Offer course, and then we'll do a review of it and then take notes together.
What I want to do right now, I want to kind of move into my first training portion of this, and I wanted to lead this out. How many of you guys have gone through the One Funnel Away Challenge? Yeah. Okay, those of you who've gone through it, if you know, I stressed a lot about one simple thing, which was hook, story, offer. I talked a lot about that. And I want to talk about that for the next hour or so, because throughout this week, you're going to be learning about a lot of different types of funnels, right? About challenge funnels and summit funnels and all these different things. And some of you guys may get confused. I want you to understand the core fundamental foundation of what you have to become good at as an entrepreneur is understanding this one concept, which is mastering hook, story, offer. And so I'm going to spend some time going over that. Hook, story, offer. I gave everybody a handout that came with your, should be on your seats. You guys take notes on stuff like that. But one of the things it says in there, I think on the very front page, is if something's not working in your funnel, it's always either your hook, your story, or your offer. Every time. Aaron's like, my funnel's not working, Russell. What should I do? I look at it, I'm like, oh, your hook is horrible. That's why nobody's clicking on your ad. Or, hey, your hook's good. People showed up. Your story's boring. That's why no one's buying. Or it's like, you hooked and you told a good story, but man, that offer was horrible. No one would ever give you money for that. And I've learned, as I've broken down consulting to three things, like it's always one of these three things. Okay, so I'm gonna spend the next hour or so going over this, giving you guys ideas and like opening up your mind to becoming better at that. If you become better at that, this framework fits into any funnel. Okay, if I'm selling a book, I gotta be good at hook, story, offer. If I'm selling something through the phone, hook, story, offer. If I'm selling something through webinars, hook, story, like this is the framework that we all have to become masters at. So I wanna lead with that today, and then as everyone else starts training on different funnels and strategies, you just remember, like if my funnel's not working, it's because of one of these three things every single time. Okay, if you were to hire me for my insanely high consulting rates, like Russell, my funnel's not working, what should I do? I'd just be like, thanks for the check. It's either your hook or your story or your offer. So next time you're like, man, I wish Russell would look at my funnel, just say and be like, what would Russell say? He would say, it's either your hook, your story, or your offer. Okay, it's always one of those three things every single time. Okay, so with hook, story, offer, it goes hook, story, offer. But I'm going to start with the offer first and then move backwards, just because that's kind of the framework how it works. Okay. So the offer, excuse me. A lot of you guys have gone through like my training with perfect webinar and stuff like that. So you see this thing called a stack slide. How many of you guys are familiar with a stack slide? Good. Okay, the stack slide is how we create an offer. Okay. And even if you're not doing a webinar, you still create a stack slide. There's no circumstance when I ever sell that I don't use a stack slide. If I was emailing somebody and they were like, hey, what does it cost to hire you as a consultant or hire you to do whatever? I would literally send them an email and have a stack slide. I just have like 4.1 value, 2 value, like I would use this in everything. Okay, so, and I'm gonna show you guys some examples today. It doesn't matter if you're selling coaching or supplements or physical products or services, like you should always have this, okay? Now to begin with, I wanna talk about one of the founding fathers of our industry. A lot of you guys may not even know him or heard of him. His name is Claude Hopkins. How many of you guys have heard of Mr. Claude Hopkins? All right, all my OGs, all the originals. Okay, this is your marketing history lesson. So Claude Hopkins was the father of modern advertising. And what's interesting is way back then in the early 1900s, what they called, what he was called, like what his job was, he was what they called a scheme man. Okay, he was a scheme man. And what the scheme men did is they came into a company and their whole job was to come up with the offer. That was it. The most important part, which is the offer. Okay, now to show you the value, even in like the late 1800s, early 1900s, the value of becoming a scheme man, the person who actually creates the offer, Claude Hopkins back then was paid $52,000 a year in 1907. Okay, now the equivalent of that's $1.39 million in today's dollars. They paid this dude over $1 million a year to come in and be like, this is what your offer is. Okay? And most of you guys never even think about this. You just kind of go off and like do whatever. And I'm excited. Stephen Larson's going to be talking in 2 presentations. He's going to go deep into like a whole bunch of really cool offer stuff with you guys. But we understand like this is the value of like the most important part of offer. You have to understand that this is so valuable that back then they paid people that much money to come create offers for them. Okay, so it's worth your time to start figuring these things out. Okay, now I want to kind of talk about what an offer isn't for a minute, because most people in business, I think about like what's the product I'm going to create. Okay, and the biggest problem when you create a product is that when you have a product, it is a commodity and anybody else can create it, right? And if you have a product and it's a commodity, when you're trying to figure out how to sell it, the only thing you have like as leverage is price, right? Okay, that's why when you go to Amazon, like someone's selling the thing at this price, it's like, oh, well, if I'm going to beat them, I got to sell it for less, and I got to sell it for less, and less, and less, and less, and like it's a race to the bottom, which is the worst type of business to be in, by the way. Okay, Dan Kennedy told me when I first got started, and 14, 15 years ago in this business, he said that there's no strategic advantage of being the second lowest price leader in town. So you can't be Walmart. Like, there's no sense of being the lowest price leader in town. But there's a huge strategic advantage of being the most expensive person in town, right? So if you're creating something like, you can create a product and become a commodity and you're racing to the bottom, or you understand how to create an offer which decommoditizes you. I'll show you here in a minute, and it makes it so you can charge whatever you want, okay? So that's kind of the key you have to understand. So a product is like a one singular thing. An offer is when you take a product and you bundle it with a bunch of other things to increase the value and to make it unique and separate and different, right? If I would have sold this as a digital marketing event, there's like 800 digital marketing events you could have gone to, right? Why did you guys fly here in the middle of the rain? It's because it's different, right? It wasn't just a product. It's not a marketing event. It's a whole bunch of other stuff. When you bought ClickFunnels, what you guys didn't buy, because like, oh, here's software that builds websites. There's tons of software that builds websites, right? We created irresistible offers and bundled them together to make you go crazy to come and buy and to come here and do things, right? I spent a ton of time focusing on how to create an offer. And one thing you have to understand, there's 2 ways to make your product the cheapest in town. The best way to illustrate this. The first way is obvious, right? If you want to be the cheapest product in town, you have to decrease the price, which again, funnel hackers don't do that, okay? We should make a t-shirt that says that funnel hackers do not decrease prices, okay? If you decrease the price, you become cheaper than somebody else. The other thing is if you increase the value of what you're offering, then you become cheaper, right? Okay? Because if I sell you something and it's worth $1 million and I only sell it for 1,000, that's cheaper than the person who sells you something for $1,000 that's worth $1,000. Does that make sense? Okay, so I can either decrease the price or I can increase the value to increase the value of the thing. And if you look at this, it's interesting. I had this conversation with my kids the other day. Like, how much money you make is 100% tied to how much value you give. It's 100% correlation. So my kids were asking me, my kids are cute because they're the age where they're trying to start figuring things out. And one of my sons, Bowen, was like, Dad, it doesn't make any sense. This guy over here is one of our friends. He's like, he's a doctor. And he's way better than you, but you make way more money than him. How come? And I said, well, you get paid based on how much value you offer. He's like,
so I'm going to pause it right there. So one thing I wanted to make stand out what he said is how much money you make is 100% tied to how much value you give. So keep that in mind as you're listening. And I'm going to interject with different tidbits throughout the actual training. Because again, listen to the billionaire speak. Billionaire success leaves steps. So you follow and we watch together. Okay, thanks for the interjection.
But Dad, he operates on people. That's way more valuable than what you do. And I smile. I said, it's definitely more difficult. I can't imagine that. But I said, you don't understand. He's only able to operate on one human being at a time. So he's offering insane amounts of value for one person. So because of that, he gets paid really, really well, but it's finite. It's as big as it can be. I was like, I'm able to offer value to 4,500 people or 76,000 people or 1 million people because I create something of value and I sell so many more times. And so I said, that's the reason I'm able to make more money than doctors because of how that works. And I kept explaining this to him. And so I told him, I was like, look, if you want to get a job, you get paid based on how much value you have, right? Okay, so if you get a job at McDonald's and they're paying, what's minimum wage nowadays, $8 an hour, I'm like, that's how much value you're getting. I was like, but if you go and you can create something, you can do something bigger, the value is so much higher and you can get paid more money for that. Okay, and I was trying to explain this to a kid, which is really fun. So the whole name of this game is you're creating funnels and you're figuring out your hook, your story, your offer. You're trying to increase the value, okay? So the offer increases the value of whatever it is you're trying to sell, okay? So I'm gonna show you some practical life examples. So the first one here is dating, okay? Now, when I met my beautiful wife, Colette, the very first time, there were tons of men who wanted to date her. And I was just a product. I'm like, hey, I'm wearing baggy pants and I have a shaved head and glasses and I was that was the product. That's the best I had, right? There were much better looking dudes who dress nice, all sorts of stuff. And I was like, if I looking at me in a lineup, it's man, there's much better offers out there, much better products, right? Because I was a commodity at that time. So it's okay, if I'm gonna convince my wife to marry me, who's way more beautiful than me, what do I gotta do? It's I have to create an offer, I have to make this better, right? And this is true for any of the single men who are trying to figure out how things work. You got to bundle, right? So if I'm like, hey, do you want to go on a date with me? She's like, I got asked by 4 other people this week. I'm like, hey, this is the deal. I plan a date. It's going to be amazing. What we're going to do is we're going to go to dinner. And what's your favorite place to eat? Oh, yeah, we're going to go there. And then what do you like to do? And we plan an actual date and make an amazing offer. Then she's not judging me versus somebody else, product versus product. She's like, oh, man, that experience seems amazing, right? And the offer's better, okay? And so when you're dating, it's the same thing, right? When you're business partners, when Todd came to me as a business partner, he had so much value. It wasn't just oh, I'm a programmer. I'm like, I'm a programmer who can turn your dreams into vision, into reality, right? I can do this. I can do this. And all of a sudden becomes this amazing offer. It's oh my gosh, I can't say no. The value gets so big, right? Okay, so it works in dating. It also works for movies. How many of you guys are pumped to see this movie next week? How many of you guys have no idea what movie this is? Okay, so if I came up to you and I was like, hey, Captain Marvel's coming out next week. Who wants to go with me? This room is fine. If I walked into the dorm room, who wants to go to Captain Marvel with me? They'd be but if this is the deal. Okay. Captain Marvel's coming out. I'm so excited to come to see this movie. So I'm so excited. What I did is it comes out on my birthday. March 8th is my birthday. That's the day it comes live. But the night before, they're doing a private screening in Boise. And I saw a commercial for it the other day, and on the commercial said, hey, the movie's coming out. Make sure to book your tickets now. And I was like, oh. So I went to the little app, the Fandango app, and I looked at the theater. There was only one theater playing it at 7:30 night before, and the half the theater's taken. I was like, oh my gosh, half the theater's taken. So I bought the other half. Okay? This is a true story. It's like, why do you keep buying all these tickets? I'm like, I don't know. I'm sure someone's going to want to hang out with me. So if I was like, this is the deal. You can come to Boise with me, and we're all going to go together. We got half the theater just for funnel hackers. It's going to be amazing. You know, I went from a movie, like a $20 movie, to like this experience, right? And then ahead of time, we're gonna go to my favorite sushi restaurant. There's a roll called the Rattlesnake Roll, and it's like this little podunk, like strip joint in Boise that seems kind of weird, but they literally have the best sushi on planet Earth. I always bring people and they're like, oh yes, Boise, sushi in Boise is gonna be great. And then they have it, like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest sushi I've ever had. I'm like, I know. How many of you guys have been there with me? Yeah, it's insane. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go sushi first. I'm gonna introduce you guys to the Rattlesnake Roll, best roll on planet Earth. Then we're gonna have a separate funnel hacker section. We're gonna watch Captain Marvel together. Third thing is I'm gonna buy costumes for each of us, and all of us gonna pick somebody. It's gonna be amazing, and it's gonna be awesome. And then fourth off, after it's done, we'll come back to my house, and then we'll just goof off. We'll play in the wrestling. We'll play on the tramps and stuff. It'll be amazing. Okay? How many of you want to come to that movie now? Yeah. So you see how I increase the value? Like, I went from like, oh, it's great. I'm gonna go to the movie to like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna book a plane and we're gonna fly there tonight, right? Just by increasing the offer, okay? So if someone's not buying your thing, it's because your offer's not good. How do you increase the offer? How do you make it better? Okay, always think how to make it better, how to make it better. Okay, we have a product we sell right now. It's 2 pieces of paper. We sell it for $1,000. How many of you guys will give me $1,000 for 2 pieces of paper? My diehards, thank you. All right, well, we literally do. So I have 2 pieces. It's a sales script, our high-ticket sales script. 2 pieces of paper. We sell for $1,000. If you look at it, you're like, I would never pay $1,000 for 2 pieces of paper, Russell. And most people would, but I'm like, these 2 pieces of paper, guess what they are? This is our high-ticket sales script, okay? To date, we've done just short of $30 million in sales with these 2 pieces of paper. Someone pick up the phone, you read this one, and then you read the other side, and then they give you money. It's amazing. It just works every single time. And I didn't make it up. People have been using it for years. There's been billions of dollars in sales tracked back to these 2 pages. And the person I know in the world who's the best, this is a guy named Robbie. In fact, Robbie's here in the room. Where's Robbie at? He's here somewhere. He's probably out, dude. So Robbie is the one who showed me the script initially, and he trained me, and they trained our sales guys and built the whole team, and he had everyone on it. Okay, so for $1,000, I'll give you 2 pages, but then I'll also give you Robbie in a box. So how do you guys like Robbie make videos to train your entire sales team just for you? It's amazing, right? So you hire sales people, you give them these 2 pages, you say, watch the videos of Robbie teaching you. They watch those for like 3 hours, they come out, ruthless salespeople can sell anybody anything, right? And then you're like, but that's cool, but I don't have any ads. I'm like, okay, well, how about this? I will give you the ads we run, and I'll give you the funnels I run. I'll just give those to you as well, right? And then how about I can hook up a call where you can jump on the call with Robbie for 30 minutes. He'll train your salespeople one-on-one and make sure it customizes the script specifically for you. Now, how many of you guys pay $1,000 for that offer? Okay, you see how it works? Like, it went from 2 pieces of paper to I bundle it all, so it's like, oh my gosh, I have to have that. Okay? If people aren't buying, again, it's the always hook story offer. If it's your offer, it's because you don't have. You got to figure out how to make it better, how to increase it, okay? One funnel away challenge, the same thing. This is a challenge where you're going to jump on a coaching call every day for 30 days. See the energy, like, oh. Now let me tell you all the stuff you get. The first thing you get is you get the big old box in the mail. Inside the box is a book called 30days.com where 30 people of our 2 Comma Club winners each wrote a chapter about how they got in the 2 Comma Club. And then there's videos I'm showing behind the scenes of each of their funnels. And then on top of that, you're going to get 30 days of video from me. Then you get 30 days of video from Julie Stoyan. And then on top of that, Stephen Larson will come on every single day and yell at you and make sure you actually get the stuff done. By the time they're done, your funnel is going to be finished. We go on and on and on. All of a sudden, like, this is like the most irresistible offer of all time. Okay? The first challenge, we had 7,500 people sign up for it. My goal is to get 10,000 people a month signing up for this challenge. We keep making the offer better and better and better. Okay? If you want to sell more stuff, figure out your offer and make it sexier, increase it, make it better. Okay? So the question then is like, well, how do you do that? Okay? Some guys like, I sell this thing. Like, how do I make it sexier? How do I make an offer? So the fastest way to increase an offer is to bulk it up by adding other types of information products. So I'm going to go through a couple ways that you guys can create quick information products to bulk up any offer without actually having to write a book. Does that sound like fun? All right, cool. So I'm going to go through 3 different things you can do. Number 1, there are written words, but I'm going to show you how to do it without actually writing any words. Number 2 is audio, and number 3 is video. This will give you guys ideas so nobody will ever say, well, I can't create an offer, Russell. But you can, with these things I'm going to show you, you can create millions and millions of offers. In fact, if you start looking at everything I do, you'll notice it's always one of these 3 things I'm using to bulk up my offers every single time. Okay, so the first are written things. So the first thing I want to show you guys is how many of you guys would love to have a book, but you don't want to write a book? Okay. Books are the most painful part of everything I've ever done ever, by far. So this is a book. There was a crowdsourced book called Chicken Soup for the Soul. How many of you guys have read Chicken Soup for the Soul? Okay. How many of you guys have read one of the 8 million versions since then? Okay. The most amazing about this book is that the authors who wrote this book didn't actually write any of the words in the books. Isn't that great? Yet they still made millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. Okay. The other day, my son came into my little office. It was Bone again. He came in and he saw this book. He said, "Dad, is that your new book?" And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "You wrote another new book?" I was like, "Well, kind of." He's like, "What do you mean kind of?" Like, "Well, I wrote the title." And that was it. He's like, "Did you cheat?" I'm like, "No, I didn't cheat." I said, "I had 30 people who got 2 Comic Club awards write how they would get a 2 Comic Club award, they could do it again." And he's like, "And then they just wrote the chapter." So yeah, and I put it in a book, and then we sell the book. He's like, "But you didn't write anything." I'm like, I wrote the title. It's a really good title. And he's like, "I don't think that's a real book, Dad." And I'm like, "No, it really is." Okay. How many of you guys decide whatever business you're in could find a whole bunch of experts in whatever it is, and you could write a book like this? This book alone, we did the very first launch of the One Funnel Away Challenge, where we gave this away, and we closed it down for like 4 months. People were auctioning these things off. Someone sold one for over $500 on eBay. People were going crazy for this book, right? Now when we launch One Funnel Away Challenge again, we're like, "You guys get this book," and people flip out. People buy it just because they want the book. I didn't write a word of it. Okay, so I don't think about this. Like, how could you guys, like, Chicken Soup for the Soul's trailblaze it for us? I've trailblazed it for you. How could you guys do that same thing in your market? Find people around you and say, "Hey, let me interview you. Let me interview 30 of you or 20 of you or 10 of you. Put it together. Make a book. There's a million things you can do with that, but it's a fast, easy way to create a book. You don't actually have to do it." Okay, number 2 way to get written books really fast is to compile examples of stuff. How many of you guys read my 108 split test book? Okay, this is literally just screenshots of 108 of our split tests, and people go crazy for it. Okay, how many of you guys are doing stuff in your business or whatever it is you do that you have like this byproduct? We weren't planning on selling this. We were just doing split tests, and it takes screenshots of the split tests, and eventually, like 2 years later, we should just put these all in a book. We just compiled a whole bunch of examples, and we sold it. Okay, this right here, how many of you guys are members of Funnel University? Every month, we find a couple of funnels, we compile them and talk about them, and we show them to people. They're not my funnels, they're other people's funnels. We just find the cool ones, and we show them, and we put them in a newsletter. Okay? How many of you guys have seen this book, the 74 Funnel Swipe File? None of you guys have seen it yet. Another product coming out soon to a funnel near you, right? Same thing, we're just compiling cool stuff. How many of you guys have seen cool stuff before? All right, you should just compile it then, and then make a book, and then it's amazing. More people probably rate this book than my other books I spent years slaving on to write, and they're like, "Oh, this is way better." Okay? And one of my favorite ones, this is kind of a tricky one. Have you guys ever heard of the public domain before? This is where Walt Disney got all of his ideas, by the way. He never wrote anything. He just like went to the public domain. He's like, "Oh, sweet, someone wrote a story about a Beauty and the Beast, or about the Snow Princess, or about all these things." Found these public domain stories and produced movies out of it. Okay? Anything that was written pre-1923 in the United States is in the public domain, and you can republish it as your own. Okay, one of my friends, Matt Fury, he took this old 1914 wrestling course, Farmer Burns, published in the book, made over $1 million selling that course. Okay, have you guys read Think and Grow Rich, Master Key Systems? Tons of the books that you guys know and you're aware of are all in the public domain. You can republish them. So there's 2 places I go for public domain stuff. Number 1, I go to Gutenberg.org. Everything on Gutenberg.org is in the public domain. They just published, there's like 50,000 ebooks there. You can find one in your market, you can take it and republish it as your own. The second secret, I go to eBay, and at eBay in the nonfiction book section, you can search by year. So I search by year, and I start typing keywords in my market, and you'll be amazed at how many amazing books have been written that people are selling on eBay for $1.50 that you can then republish and sell for whatever you want. Bundle it inside of your offer to quickly get amazing books. Okay? So there's 3 fast ways to make books. Crowdsource them, compile a bunch of examples, or go in the public domain. Okay, now here's the concept I need you guys to understand as we move from the first 3 to the next 3 and beyond. This will make this whole process simpler for you. Okay? The concept is this. People will spend more money for the exact same content packaged in a different way. Okay, say it again. People will spend more money for the exact same content packaged in a different way. Okay? When I first started this business, I remember going to events like this, and the speakers, it seemed like every single time some speaker would say, "Who here's read Think and Grow Rich?" By the way, how many of you guys have read Think and Grow Rich? Which is in the public domain, by the way, so you guys can all republish and make Think and Grow Rich for dentists, Think and Grow Rich for surfers, Think and Grow Rich for whatever. Anyway, it's there ready for you. But Anyway, so I kept hearing that, so I went and bought the book. And I was like, oh, I'm so excited to read this book. And I put it next to my bedstand. And it sat there for months and months and then years. And every time I go to an event, people are like, who do I think you go rich? I raise my hand. I'm like, well, I actually read it. I have it. Someday I'll read it. And one day I remember feeling guilty. I went on eBay and I typed Think and Grow Rich CDs, and someone was selling this CD course of it. And so I bought the CDs, got in my car, and for the next 3 weeks, I started reading Think and Grow Rich in my car. You know, what's interesting about this is the book Think and Grow Rich cost me $9.97 on Amazon. The CDs cost me $97 on eBay. So I literally paid 10 times more money for the exact same thing packaged in a different way. Was there any difference in the book and the audio? It's literally word for word. Some dude read the book, and then it became CDs, and I spent 10 times as much. Okay? This is a lesson for you guys. How many of you guys read the .com Secrets book? How many of you guys read the Expert Secrets book? Why are you here then? Everything I know is in those books. I got nothing else. Oh, because it's packaged a different way. Does that make sense? We guys all understand that what you have, you can package it in so many different ways. And because of the experience, how it's being fulfilled, all those things, it shifts the value of it, right? This is way more valuable than a $10 book, this experience in being here. All right, so I'm gonna shift over to audio now, okay? So this is a book that we republished. This is in the public domain called Life Work of Farmer Burns. I had my father-in-law get a microphone out. He read it. We turned it into a CD, and we started selling. This is probably 10 years ago. Started selling this book on CD. So you can find a book, and you can read it. You have somebody else read it. You can find the book in public domain. You can find something like that, and you can make an audiobook. Very simple, easy way to do it. Okay? Number 2 is you can interview others. So this is...
So I'm going to pause for 2 seconds on that one there. So I literally just suggested this. So like I shared with you earlier before we started out, is that I have something called my live virtual conversation series with Adriane on Tuesdays. And Dr. William E. Liverman is an author, educator, overcomer, legacy builder. And so he actually came on board August 28th, and we did a live virtual conversation, and he wrote a book, and the book is on Amazon called Dare Many Mighty Things, The Journey from the Potato Fields to a PhD. And so it's for sale, $16.95 on Amazon. And the book is about a story about Dr. William Liverman, who by God's grace overcame insurmountable odds to achieve outstanding results in his journey to success. So Dr. Liverman's journey began in the Jim Crow South, and where he and his 7 siblings were miraculously rescued from a devastating fire that reduced their home to ashes on a frigid winter night in Weeksville, North Carolina. So long story short, I reached out to Dr. Liverman over the weekend, and I shared with him, I said, well, why don't we do an audio version? And this was so funny because it's even before I watched this training yesterday. And so again, when you change over a different way that people can actually listen and get the information, what Russell Brunson is breaking it down to you is people will spend more money for the same product and just packaged in a different way. So that whole concept, and with the live virtual conversations, if you have a book, then that is a different way that you can package it and then leverage it, reading it on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, doing like I'm doing on StreamYard, and have it streamed to several different channels. And then people actually are getting exposed to you in different ways. Some people might go to Amazon and get your book. Some might go to social media to actually hear excerpts from your book. So just wanting to give you a real life reference to what Russell Brunson is sharing. So let's jump back in.
This is a book. How many of you guys have read this book, by the way? I know all of our 2 Common Club X members, I sent you guys a copy of it. Everyone's like, this thing is bigger than the phone book. It's one of the best books ever. And I remember when it first came out, David Fry, where's David at? Yes, so David got it, and he's like, this book's amazing. Then he called it Vince James, the author, and he interviewed him for a whole bunch of stuff, and he made a whole audio course out of it. And Dave's the genius, and I was like, I should just do what Dave did. So then I called him up. I was like, hey, can I interview you too? And he was like, sure. And so I interviewed the guy who wrote this book. The guy when he was a 28-year-old kid, made $100 million through direct mail selling supplements. And so I called him on the phone, and I interviewed him, and he let me interview him for 6 hours. When it was done, he's like, you can have the rights to the audios. I have the rights to them. You can do whatever you want with them. I'm like, sweet. And so then 2 years later, I launched it. And this actually became my very first ever 2 Common Club funnel. I made $1 million selling the interviews of the interview I did with this guy who wrote the book. Isn't that amazing? So how many of you guys have ever read a book before? How many of you guys could call the author and be like, hey, can I interview you? And some people's like, oh, he's too famous. He wrote all these big books. He's never going to interview me. Okay, I'm going to tell you the life of an author, if you guys really want to know how it works. They geek out on topic. They spend their whole life writing this book, and they're so proud of it. They're so excited, right? And then they tell their spouse or their family, their friends, they're like, okay, that's weird. And they're like, oh, nobody cares? And then there's an audience who gets the book and they love it and they read it, and they're like, oh, my people, they read it, right? And then somebody calls them like, hey, that book was amazing. Can I interview you? The person's like, yes, you can. Just so you know, they want you to talk to them. They want to share the stuff. Does not happen enough. You went to Amazon and find the top 10 authors books in your market. I guarantee you 9 out of 10 you could get on the phone for free that fast. Okay? Or you could actually, I don't know if Jason Fladlin was here this year, but Jason gave me an idea that was brilliant. He was doing an offer. This kind of ties back to the story we'll talk about here in a minute, but he was doing an offer. He was selling a funnel course, and he was like, I want to interview someone who did e-commerce funnels. So he's like, well, Trey Llewellyn has got the highest grossing e-commerce funnel right now inside of ClickFunnels. I want to interview Trey. So he calls up Trey. He's like, hey, can I interview you? And they're friends. And Trey's like, sure, man, you can interview me. And Jason's like, well, I need to wire you some money first. And Trey's like, no, don't worry about it. I'll do the interview. He's like, no, I need to wire you the money because otherwise there's no value in this interview. He's like, what? And Trey's like, whatever. So Jason wires him like $5,000. He does the interview. And then when you see when Jason's selling this product and does the stack, he goes through his stack. He's like, number one, number two, number three. He's like, number three right here. You see this right here? This is the guy. He is the number one e-commerce seller in ClickFunnels. He had a funnel to $20 million in 6 weeks selling flashlights. And I wired him $5,000 to interview him. I want to find out he does interviews, but I wanted to find out the real stuff. So I paid him $5,000 to interview him. And that interview you guys could have. All of a sudden, that bullet point in this stack slide went from, oh, it's an interview, that's worth $5,000 now. The value instantly shoots up, right?
So I want to pause there as well, because Jason Fladian is the individual that Russell Brunson just brought up. And he is the greatest of all time in having the webinar training. And he's part of the AI Cash Story Dream Team, the ultimate offer as well. And so, with Jason Fladian, he's made almost $500 million in regards to webinars, the concepts, the structure. So we think about it. If we have billionaire Russell Brunson, we have billionaire Jason Fladian, they are connecting with each other. And even Russell Brunson brings it up in his training. Wouldn't it make sense for you to actually, research Jason Fladian and actually understand his process? Don't worry, Adriane Mays has you covered because the AI, Alice Hormozy uses Jason Fladian. So all the billionaires, they work together. So if you want to become a billionaire or if you want to become the best at whatever your craft is, you have to join a team that's actually looking to do so as well. So that's like asking, if you work no offense to anybody who work at McDonald's, but if you work at McDonald's and you go to think that you're going to ask them about Russell Brunson, and think you're going to get results. You have to get around like minds for your actual opportunity. So Jason Fladian is a part of the AI Cash Story Dream Team of coaching as well as mentoring and setting up the AI webinars that I speak about. So I want to just kind of interject there to show you that like minds work together. So Russell Brunson has worked with Jason Fladian. Adriane Mays is within Jason Fladian. And hopefully you too, if you actually invest in the ultimate offer, will start learning and the strategies so you can reach the best version of whatever your brand wants to become. So let's keep going.
So interviewing people is huge. In fact, when I launched the 10X Secrets course, I had my offer and it was good. And I was like, how do I make this sexier? So the first thing I did is I interviewed a bunch of people. I interviewed this man right here. Where's Myron at? Everyone loves Myron. Yeah. Anyway, I interviewed Myron. I interviewed a bunch of people who I learned how to close from stage from. I interviewed all of them, plugged that into the course, increased the value of the course. Okay? So interviewing people is huge for any product.
And I want to pause one more time. Myron Golden, he currently charges for his consultations $155,000 per weekend. So with him, think about it. Again, billionaires connect with billionaires. So you start listening and you study and you understand that the process, you don't have to do it alone. You just got to success leaves clues, but you have to follow the right team. Okay, back to what we were watching.
I don't think there's a product I put out that I don't interview people. I do it, even if it's my product. I'm like, who are the 10 other people I can interview who've done something similar? Because all those things increase the value of what it is I'm selling. Okay? And then the last audio one is compiling hard to find podcasts and audios and things like that. Okay? If I told you guys, like, hey, my favorite podcast is Mixergy, I should go listen to it. How much value is in that? Not much, right? But if I was like, okay, there's this one interview that Andrew did. And in the interview, you started talking to the guy, and the guy showed 3 different websites that were the key to blah, 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 blah. And I listened to those things. I found the websites.
So I want to pause again and go to Myron Golden while I'm staying on that point real quick. Myron Golden, over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and I'm going to drop his YouTube in the chat. So that way you can kind of see an idea. Over 70 million views of Myron Golden. And so again, success leaves clues. Okay, back to the actual training.
I never knew they existed. I started doing the thing, and that's how we got ClickFunnels to do whatever, right? If I tell you that, you're like, oh my gosh, I want to hear that podcast. Like, cool. When you sign up for my thing right now, I'm going to give you a link directly to that podcast episode so you can find it. Okay? You curating stuff for people, there's value in that. Okay? YouTube videos. I've done it tons of times with opt-ins where we're like, opt in here to get a free video from Robert Kiyosaki teaching the #1 tax strategy for middle-aged Americans. And I just found a video on YouTube of Robert Kiyosaki teaching the #1 thing on whatever. And that's what I give people when they opt in. Okay? So you curating stuff you think is cool can be bundled into offers as well. Okay, so there's the audio ones really quick. So audiobooks, interviewing other people, and compiling hard to find audios is a big thing. Last one I'm gonna go through really quickly is video. Okay, there is a program. How many of you guys here use Windows? How many of you guys use Macs? Holy cow. All right. Okay, there's a program. If you're Windows, you should be using Camtasia. If you're using Mac, use ScreenFlow. This tool has made me and probably most people more money than anything else on earth. It just records whatever's happening on your.
Right here, this is Camtasia. Just wanted to kind of show you. So it's a free tool that allows you to record and edit your actual screen. So you can download it for free. And so the free plan is free, and I believe it's only a certain number of time. And then you actually have it unlimited if you unlimited if you actually invest in the actual Camtasia. But there are ways to actually get this information and get your start recording your screens. Back to Russell.
Training, the one that got us from 0 to 10,000 customers. I had a Word document open on the screen with my notes, and the right hand side I had a little picture. I just clicked record on ScreenFlow, and I talked for an hour as I read through my outline. We did like $10 million plus in sales, and that was what the product looked like. But Rose, I have a professional video studio. You don't need one. Just get a microphone, ScreenFlow or Camtasia, record your screen, have a presentation, and just teach it. Okay? It's super easy. It's simple. It's like the easiest thing in the world to do. Okay? Number 2 video thing is just get your iPhone out. Literally, you can get your phone out and just make videos. Where's Rachel at? Is she in the room right now? We were on a. Did you finish the course, by the way? Can I talk about that? So Rachel, we were on this like little cruise thing after the 10X event, and she came to me and she's like, I have an idea. It's gonna be a course called Selfie Secrets. I'm like, gonna ruin this. And I'm gonna record the whole thing on my iPhone. And then she the next day recorded an entire course on her phone, teaching the entire course, which is amazing. And it was all on her phone. Okay, so how many of you guys have a phone? You have everything you need. All right. Okay. And you guys should all buy her course when it goes live. All right. And the last thing is you should throw a workshop teaching people stuff, and you don't even have to speak and bring other speakers to teach for you. Okay. When I first got started, I didn't have any product to sell. And so the first thing I did is I threw a workshop, and it was really exciting to have a workshop. I was pumped about it, but I had nobody coming. And so I emailed my tiny list of time and said, I'm doing a workshop. It's $5,000 a ticket. And then the first day, nobody bought. The second day, nobody bought. And the third day, one guy bought. And at first I was like, yeah. And I was like, oh crap. Now I have to do a workshop. There's only one person coming. This is awkward. And then luckily 2 other people bought. So I had 3 people buy. I was like, okay, now we have a workshop with 3 people. And so I called everybody I knew, my friends, my family, everybody. I was like, okay, I'm doing a workshop. People paid to be here. You have to come and just sit in the audience and don't tell them you didn't pay because I need this to look good on video or it's going to be super embarrassing. And so we set it up. We had it all set. And it was not like this. It was really bad. We literally had the windows behind me were too bright, so we got sheets from the bedrooms and electrical tape sheets over. It's so bad. But we recorded, and that became the very first course I ever sold. Was the videos from us at the Holiday Inn with the electrical tape over the sheets, literally behind me the entire video, and it looked amazing. Okay, so throw a workshop, even if nobody comes to it, just invite your friends, do something at your house, bring people in, just record yourself teaching your thing, and you can bundle that in really quickly. Okay, so for videos, we've got screen captures, iPhones, and workshops. So here's a real quick recap of the 9 ideas. Crowdsourcing books, compiling examples, public domain, audiobooks, interviewing, compile hard-to-find audio, screen captures, iPhones, and workshops.
Okay, I want to pause that there. So these are all the different ideas that you can actually fast info product ideas, and that way, you know, you can and I want to put this in the chat too, so when he continues to talk, you can be able to have this information. But the great thing is you can create your own offer in regards to whatever you want to have on OfferLab, and collaborating with others is going to help you build your actual billionaire brand. So you don't have to do it alone. And that's kind of my motto that I'm been saying, going to stick with, because you have your certain skill set. Some people might not have the same outgoing personality, like, for myself, or, so you have what your angle is. But what you have to do is find people that you know, like, and trust, that actually connect with you to be able to help you build your brand. I want to share a short story in between here as well. So I was connecting with Unica Gaines over the past weekend in regards to building out her program for her coaching program for her transformation for her weight journey. And one thing that she actually stood out that for me was, which she had a good point, is this is a lot, like, for example, this course is live, as this video is going to be available within the OfferLab Road to Certification live course that I'm building. So, but I can't have a blueprint until the transformation happens. But it's good to actually capture these moments, because you never know on the way to your why who it will impact. So as I can start to outreach to different people to get them involved with OfferLab, get them involved with Adriane Mays' ultimate offer, you want to have it a basis of where you come from, where you are now, and where you're going. And so that's what this is. I wanted to visually show people the work. I watched this last night, got a lot of ideas, and that's how I got to the live virtual conversation series. And at the end, I'm going to tell you the idea that branched, which I kind of introduced at the beginning to help, kind of get an idea of why we're doing this in the first place. So you got the whole listing there, and then let's keep going.
Okay, tons of easy ways to do that quickly. Okay, so what we're doing now is I want to actually, I'm trying to think if we should do this or not. I'm going to let you guys do this on your own. But in your paper that I handed out, I have this little section here for you guys to figure out what are potential products I could bundle inside of my offer. Okay, and this is something we do all the time. Every time we have a new product comes out, we talk this last year. We have bat meetings where, like, we literally send out a bat signal to Voxer, our marketing team. We all come on Zoom and wherever they're at from around the world. We get in front of a whiteboard. Right? Okay, what can we create for this product? We can put this in it and this in it. We start just dumping out as many different ideas as we can. Okay, so now you guys have, like, let's say I'm selling this product. What else could we do? Oh, we could interview this guy. I could compile these things here. I could do this. I can make a video. I could do a workshop. And all these things you can quickly create to turn this into an offer. Okay. Now, really quick, I guarantee I know the number one thing going through some of your heads right now is like, well, Russell, that's cool for all the coaches and the consultants and the info product people, but not for me. I'm different. I sell real stuff, right? I sell physical products. I have a local business, or whatever your excuse is right now. And I want to shatter these excuses. Because the biggest thing that's going to keep you guys from having success over this week is the thought of, like, oh, well, this doesn't apply to me. Okay, I'm excited. I think either tomorrow or the next day, we're going to have Jamie Cross, who's going to come up here and speaking. Yeah. Jamie's amazing because 2 years ago, she came to Funnel Hacking Live. She was sitting in the audience, and she sells soap. Okay, and I was on stage talking about webinars. I'm doing this huge about webinars and stories, this whole thing, right? And every other e-commerce person, I'm guessing, in the audience is like, this is not for me because I sell physical products. And Jamie said, how can I make this work for me? 12 months later, she's on stage giving 2 Common Cup Award. 12 months later, she's on stage sharing her story with you. She took this concept of the webinar and made an e-commerce webinar. She took and didn't say, this isn't going to work for me. How can I make this work for me? And shifted some things and made it work for her and blew up her company. I'm so excited for her to tell her whole story. I want you guys to think the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to do this example right now. This is a product that I sell. This is a physical product called Bygone. How many of you have ever seen this before? The 3 people on my team. All right, so back in the day when I launched 15 companies in a year, which is a horrible idea. Don't do that. One of them was this thing right here. I had a friend who had this company, and he was getting in trouble. And this little machine here, if you start getting a cold sore, you feel it. How many of you guys get cold sores? You feel it tingle. You pull this out, I can open it. This is a new one, so the seal hasn't been cut yet. All right. Then you peel the seal off. All right, so when you open this thing up, when you feel a cold sore coming on, come on, there we go. All right, you open it up, and there's these two little electrodes, okay? And you take it and you push the button, and then say the cold sore, you put it on your cold sore, and somehow, I don't know how, some scientists figured out something. It's actually patented everything. It goes in and like zaps the cold sore, destroys it, kicks it in the face, and destroys it, and the cold sore never shows up, okay? Isn't that awesome? How many of us want one of these right now? Really? I get my funnel back up. Anyway, so this is a physical product I sell, right? And you're like, well, Russell, this is you know, I don't sell information. This doesn't work for me. But imagine if I did this. How do I turn this into an offer? Okay, this is a physical product. It does what it does. It's just a thing. Okay, and the guy who I buy these from, he sells it to other people. So it's not like I'm not the only one. It's a commodity. There's like 30 other people that sell the same thing. Only mine's better. Okay. So for me, like, how do I compete against everybody else? Well, everyone's got the exact same thing. It does the exact same thing. So I have to turn this from a commodity into an offer. Because if it's a commodity, I got to be like, okay, well, he's selling for 150. I'm going to sell for 130. And then the next is also 120. Like, crap, 110, 19, 15, boom, boom, boom. Soon this thing's like $9.95, right? Retail. Okay. That's the problem with products or commodities. Or I can say, okay, this is amazing. This helps with cold sores. But what else could do with cold sores? Okay, what else can I do? What else can I do? I could go on Amazon and be like cold sore cures and remedies. And I guarantee there's people on Amazon who have written books on how to do cold sores. I can message one and be like, hey man, you are the definitive like expert in cold sores. Can I interview you talking about all the tricks you know how to prevent cold sores from happening? I'm sure there's something in your diet and exercise, right? Like, oh yes. So I get them on the phone, I interview them. Now it's like, hey, when you buy from anybody, you get the same thing, but you buy from me, you get the cold sore inhibitor, plus you also get the interview with this dude over here who's the #1 highest stars on Amazon writer of a cold sore book. You get his book as well, plus my interview where I actually interviewed him. And then #3, there are 7 supplements I found that help get rid of cold sores. 7. There's a whole bunch of people claim the supplements, but there's actually 7 that work, and there's 2 that work almost instantly. The second you feel cold sore come, you pop any of these 2 pills, gone instantly. Okay? And I wrote a report about those. So I want to make sure you get the right ones. If you get the wrong brand, you get the right product, you get the wrong brand, you are screwed. So I'm going to show you the 7 supplements as well. So you get this first, plus you're going to get the interview with the #1 expert in the world, plus you're going to get the 7 supplements, the actual brand names, where to buy them, how to get the discounts, all the 7 supplements. And next thing you're going to get is blah, 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 right? I take a physical product, I'm bundling information around it to increase the value of the thing, okay? So it doesn't matter if you're selling information or not. If you're selling physical products, it's the same thing. Information is the easiest way to bundle this, right? The problem with infomercials is the only way they bundle is like, if you call now, I'll give you another one for free, right? That's what almost all e-commerce people do. It's like, oh, like that's good, but like that, it's like, now I got 2 of these things. So if I have cold sores, I can have one in my house and in my office. That's kind of weird, right? But if I bundled information, probably doesn't increase the cost to you at all, but dramatically increases the value. Okay, now when I'm competing with the 30 other people selling this, I can sell it for higher, and people will still buy it from me versus everybody else because my offer is better than theirs. Okay, another good example of this is my friend, Mr. Steven Larson. How many of you guys know Steven? So this is a good example for any of you guys who are like, I'm here, Russell, but I don't have a product yet. So Steven, he has his own products, but he's also an affiliate for ClickFunnels. He's an affiliate for a bunch of other things, right? And so we did the One Funnel Away launch and the 10X launch, a couple other things. He said, okay, Russell already created an amazing offer that he's selling, but there's like 1,000 affiliates who are all selling this product as well, right? He says, so everyone's doing it, so how do I compete against this? He said, okay, well, here's Russell's offer. How can I make my own offer to make it better? People always ask me, how do you make money as an affiliate, Russell? The first thing you do is you don't sell the product that they're already selling. Like that's like buy Russell's thing. That's like #1 on your list, and it's like now I need to make my own offer. Okay, how many of you guys bought the One Funnel Away challenge from somebody and then bought it again from Steven later because you wanted his bonus? Okay, how many of you guys bought twice from Steven because you wanted the new bonus the second time? Okay, there's a lesson in this. So even if you don't have a product yet, it's okay. Find someone else with a product, and then how can I now make an amazing offer? What can I bundle together to increase the value of this offer so people buy from me versus somebody else? Or if they did buy from someone else, they'll also buy from me because my offer is so valuable. Okay? All right, so this is kind of the exercise for you guys to start doing is going through here and listing out all the ideas you can have, okay? So tonight, this weekend, with that paper handy out, start writing out these things, start putting them out there. and start putting as many as you can think of, and make it like the biggest problem you can have is you're kind of putting in your potential products that are going to make an offer. It's like, oh, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. When you start to be creative, like when we first did this, probably 12 years ago, we sat in front of a whiteboard, we're doing this, and we were at a point where we needed a funnel to save us from everything, right? It was like the bottom of everything. Like we had to make the most irresistible offer ever, or else we're shutting the doors. So we sat in front of a whiteboard. I'm like, hey, what can we give them? Like, okay, they can fly to my house, and I will give them a massage and feed them food, and then we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. And we made all this crazy stuff. We had it all on the whiteboard. And then when we started saying, okay, what's the offer actually going to be? We're like, well, pretty sure my wife would be mad if I hadn't come to my house and I give them massages. Let's not do that one. But it was there, right? And it's like, well, what if we did this? And then it gave us the time to brainstorm. And then from there, we start pulling things over to actually make an amazing offer. Okay? Anytime I create a new funnel, a new thing, I'm always looking at creating an offer, creating as many potential things as possible, and then like, what am I actually going to create? Pull them into my little stack slides. Like, now I know what I need to create to increase this offer. Okay? All right. Now, one thing I want to mention as well, the reason why I have a whole bunch of things as well is because there's more than just one offer in every funnel. You guys understand that? And so I need a lot of stuff that I can give away, right? So if you look at this right here, there's an offer on my ad. I'm trying to get someone to click on something. So I'm like, click on this thing and I'm going to give you a free report, right? There's an offer happening there. Luckily, that was one of my ideas I already created because I can now pull that down and it becomes this, right? Then they land on my landing page. I'm like, I need their email address. I'm trading them. What am I going to have? Oh, well, I have something up here. I've already created potential products. I'm going to give them my interview with so-and-so. Give me your email address. I'll give you the interview with so-and-so. Boom, right? There's the next product. And it's like, now buy this product. I'm going to give you these 5 things. Then my upsell is these 3 or 4 things. Okay? I think so many of us go into this thinking like, okay, here's the product I'm going to sell. And we're trying to build a funnel around it. It's like, no. Understand it's like, you're looking at more like, how do you serve your customer? And like, what are all the things you could possibly give them to do that? And then you're breaking down to the different parts of the funnel. Okay? All right. So come back to the hook, story, offer. So that was the offer section of this part. Okay, it's the offer. Now we're gonna move backwards to the story. Okay, so the question then is like, why are stories so essential to this? Okay, stories also increase the value. Okay, now a couple of things I understand. Number one, for someone to change their destiny, they have to make a decision. Okay, this is true first off for all of you, and second off, it's true for all the people you're serving. Okay, for someone to change their destiny, they have to make a decision. Number two, for them to make a decision, you have to change their state. Okay, and then the best way to change their state is through story. So if we take that backwards, I got to figure out how to tell stories so I can change people's states. If I can change their state, then I can help them make a decision that's going to empower them. And if I can help them make a decision that's going to empower them, I can change their life. I can change their destiny. That's why stories are so important. Okay? An offer without a state change is completely useless. If I was like, hey, who wants to go to the movie Captain Marvel this week? Oh, like 3 of you, like, yeah, remember? Then I tell the story, and you're like, oh my gosh, I will mortgage my house to fly there for that experience, right? The story is what makes it valuable, okay? So the big secret is storytelling. We've talked a lot about this in our community. This is not unique. I want to kind of go through this because the stories being weaved into every single thing we're doing, okay? You have to become better and better and better at story, okay? For all you guys who are expert secrets, you know the next part of this, but I want to share it for those who may not or are new, okay? This is a concept we call the Epiphany Bridge story. So the Epiphany Bridge is the thing what you're thinking about as you're trying to figure out how to tell your stories, okay? So the Epiphany Bridge, this is you, back before you were whoever you are now, right? This is back when you were in your normal life, before you like figured out whatever it is you're so passionate about today, right? So for me, before I learned about this whole funnel thing, I was just in my house, hanging out, doing nothing, like that was me. And then something happened, right? Where all of a sudden you have this aha moment, you're like, oh my gosh, this is the thing. This is the thing I was meant to do. This is like what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And then what happens is you get so excited by that thing, you have that moment, okay? So for me, it's happened tons of times in my life, right? I think about when I was wrestling, like, you guys, my parents who were here in the front row, I used to come home from school every day, I would eat like Rice Krispies and Cheers and watch TV, right? And then 8th grade, my dad made me sign up for wrestling. I was like, I don't want to be a wrestler. That seems like too much work. I just want to watch TV. And he made me go, and I had a good time at wrestling. It was okay. And the next year, I remember my very first, it was 9th grade. I had a chance I made it to the JV team. And I remember I went to weigh-ins. I was so scared and so nervous. I go to weigh in, and the guy that I'm wrestling has a mustache. I still, to this day, cannot grow a mustache. I don't know why. Anyway, I can't. I remember looking at this kid, I'm like, he's got a mustache. He is going to destroy me. And I got so scared and went to the match. I remember getting in the stadium, and it's the JV match. So the only two people in the audience were my mom and my dad. I'm like, oh, and I get out there, I shake his hand, and I'm like, how does he grow facial hair in 8th grade? Like, oh my gosh. And so we start wrestling, and somehow, I don't know what happens, but at the end of the match, I win. And I stand up, and my hand gets raised. And I look over to the guy with the mustache, and his head's down. I look at my mom and my dad, and my dad's like freaking out. And I was like, this day is the day I became a wrestler. That was my aha moment, right? And then the only thing I thought about for the next decade and a half of my life was wrestling, right? Same thing happened in business. I remember like I was trying things. All of a sudden, like I remember when it hit me, I was like, this is my thing. Like this is what I'm gonna do for the next decade of my life. Okay? My guess is most of you guys have had that moment. That's why you're probably here, trying to figure out the rest of the story, right?
So that's so important. And I wanted to pause there because again, your story is based on your opportunity. So for someone to change their destiny, they have to make a decision. And I want to interject there because a decision takes more than just me saying, hey, I want to do this. It takes action. It takes work. It takes failing. It takes a team, and it takes your mindset to be able to go to the next level. So just to stay with what Russell was sharing, for someone to change their destiny, they have to make a decision. For them to make a decision, they have to change their state. If they want to change their state, you have to change their story. So let's keep listening as, again, we're getting to the good stuff.
So that happens. Then we go on this amazing journey. We're like, this is amazing. And we start studying everything. We start learning. We start geeking out. And the worst thing in the world happens to us. We start understanding why this thing's amazing, right? And then we have a chance to try to sell somebody on this thing that we love, that we care so much about. We're so excited. And the first thing we do is we take all this techno-babble, all this technical stuff we learned, and we spew it out upon them. And they're like, oh, and they get buried in this thing, and they freak out, and they run away. We logically try to sell them because we're so logically invested in this thing right now. But the reality is that people don't buy logically. You didn't buy logically. My dad didn't convince me, you're going to love wrestling because it's going to be good health for you. You're going to get stronger muscles. You're going to it's going to help you become more resilient in life. You're going to, all these things. Like, that was the logic. Okay. What sold me on wrestling? Oh my gosh. That felt amazing. I'm in. Something happened to each of you emotionally that got you in. Okay. And so for us to be able to convince other people, we have to get rid of all the techno-babble. And you have to remember, what was the thing? What was the story? What was the reason that got me started on this journey? And as you tell that story and you get people the same epiphany that you had, that's when you're able to change their destiny. That's when you're able to help them. Okay. So that's the epiphany bridge stuff. If you want to go deeper in that, I talk a lot about expert secrets, but like that's the core of story. And so for you, it's not coming back and trying to logically convince anybody of anything. It's remembering like, what was the reason why I got so excited about this? And sharing that story is what's going to get people connect with you. And then they're going to have the same epiphany you had if you do it right. And now you can change them. Now you can affect, now you can move them. Okay. All right. So there's the story framework. Now, the next part of story, is you have to understand that when we are telling people a story, everyone already has a story, right? About whatever it is. And so if the story is positive, it's a really good thing for them. But if the story is negative, it's holding them back. Okay, so our job as marketers, as funnel hackers, is to look at that and say, okay, this story they have, is it holding them back from what I know that they need to be doing? If so, like that story is the chain of false belief. It's holding them back, right? So they have this chain of false belief. There's some experience, something happened to them that made them have these false beliefs. Okay, so there's this experience. And because of that experience, they've been telling themselves the story over and over and over again. So for you, this is the people you're coming in contact with. They're seeing your Facebook ads. They're coming on your webinars. They're hitting your landing pages. They're reading your emails. And they have these things. And if you don't break these false chains of beliefs, no matter how hard you try, you will never convince them to follow you. It's impossible, right? Because they have this story. So the only way for you to break them from these false chains of belief is to tell them your story. And if you do this right, then your story trumps their story. And then your story becomes theirs. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example. So this is my friend Devon. You guys met him a little earlier today. By the way, do you love his socks? That was amazing. Anyway, so Devon last year comes in. He's like, Russell, this is amazing. I got an opportunity for you. It's going to be ground floor opportunity. It's going to be amazing. It's going to change the world. It's going to be awesome. And I'm like, sweet, man, I'm in. So Devon signs me up. He's like, all right, your first thing you need to do, see Jim and Pam over there? You got to get them signed up. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Okay. So now I look at it through this lens. Okay. So I'm going to sign Jim and Pam up. Now I look at Jim and I'm like, okay, Jim has got some false chains of belief. There's some reason I'm not going to be able to get him to believe that he should join my network marketing opportunity, right? What is that? He's got these false chains of belief. So I got to think like, what did he experience that probably kept him from doing that? Like, did he have a friend or a family member who came and annoyed him, or someone who or did he have did he already join a program and he just felt uncomfortable? What was the experience he had? Okay, so for Jim's experience, what happened is he had a friend named Michael Scott who just tackled him and forced him to be in this program, right? And he's like, oh, that was a horrible experience. I did not feel comfortable. I did not like it. And so because of that, he created a story inside of his mind. And the story he created inside his mind is that all network marketing programs are pyramid schemes. Okay, so that's the story he created. So I can come in here, I can tell him everything I want about ground floor opportunity, the best product, the best technology, the best everything, no matter what I do, logically sell him. He will never break that story. It's not worth doing. Okay, now I'm sharing the story for network marketing, but it's true for every single one of you guys. I don't care if you're selling fitness, finance, products, services, like whatever it is, this is what's happening. Your customers have a story already. Okay, so the only way for you to break their story is you have to come in, you have to tell a better story that trumps theirs. Okay, so if I was going to Jim, I'd be like, hey man, so why aren't you joining? He's like, oh, I had this annoying friend who bugged me. It was horrible. And you know, if I join, I got to bug people. And like, I just don't want to do it. I'm like, no, that makes sense. I was the same way. But what's interesting is that I found out about this really cool thing called a funnel. And I used the funnel. There was this network marketing program. I believed it was pretty cool. And they were giving away a Ferrari. And I was like, what if I won a Ferrari without ever talking to anybody ever? That would be amazing. And so I set up a funnel. I launched it. And in 60 days, I became the #1 money earner in the company, and I won this Ferrari. And the best thing is I didn't talk to a single person ever. Isn't that amazing? Now, if I tell Jim that if my story trumps his story, he's going to be like, oh my gosh. So you're saying I could actually have the benefit of this thing without talking to people? Sign me up. Okay? So that's what you have to understand. That's all this whole story thing is about. It's about trumping someone else's false belief. If I can trump their false belief, their story shifts, and now your story becomes theirs, and now they're free. The chains of false belief are gone. Now they're free to go pursue whatever it is you're trying to help them pursue. Okay? All right. So the question is then, what stories do I tell? Now, this is going to change. We talked about hook, story, offer. Depending on the complexity of the product, depends on how many stories you tell and what stories you tell, right? If it's a very simple product, you tell a story, and that's all you need. For more complex things, you have to tell multiple stories. So I'm going to kind of walk through that. So the first thing you have to understand is that in every sales argument, there is what we call the big domino. Okay, again, if you read Expert Secrets, we talk about this. There's one thing that if I can get them to believe that one thing, all the other concerns just disappear instantly, right? Okay, so when you guys came into my world, the whole funnel world, okay, everyone had false beliefs and things you believed on everything. But if I could somehow convince you that the only way for you to get your goals was a funnel, like you have to just kind of like, all right, well, I'm in, like I got to do it, right? Everything else just falls away. Okay, so for me, it's like if I can convince people that a funnel is the only way for them to actually get the results they want, then it knocks down all the other dominoes. All the other dominoes fall away or they become irrelevant. Okay, and every sales argument has the same thing. Okay, when you're selling something, it's not about trying to answer every single concern possible. It's figuring out what's the one big domino. If I can address this in my ad, in my video, in my webinar, in my whatever, if I can address this, if I can prove them that this is true, then all the other dominoes fall down and they have to believe me, right? And so for all of you guys, you have that. I'm excited. Jamie's going to talk about hers tomorrow, I believe. Like in her, she figured out what was the thing she had to get people to believe. And boom, it all fell down, okay? So you got to figure that out. Now, after you know the big domino for your product, your service, then it comes down to there's 4 stories we typically tell. Now, I'm going to show you guys this in a framework of like a webinar. And so I'm going to show 15 minutes. I'm going to show kind of how we do in a 90-minute webinar. But the same thing happens on a 5-minute webinar. It's the same process, just shorter times, okay? So the first story we tell is what we call the origin story. Okay, the origin story is basically your epiphany bridge story. How did you find out about this thing? Like, why do you care so much about it, right? So you tell your story. So if I'm doing a webinar, the first 15 minutes of my webinar is me just telling my origin story, okay? My epiphany bridge story about how I fell in love with this thing, okay? So if you watch any of the webinars, these are the slides from the Funnel Hacks webinar that most of you guys have probably seen. The first 15 minutes, I'm going through this. I'm just telling my epiphany bridge story about, oh my gosh, funnels are the greatest in the world. Let me explain to you why they are. And I tell you my whole story, okay? And that's the first goal. Now what happens is after I tell that story, for some people, that was it. Domino falls over and like, I'm in. Here's my, in fact, I'm curious, how many of you guys, when you first heard me talk about potato guns and funnels and I told the first story, you're like, I'm 100% in. All right? My hyperactives are like in, okay? Now, ClickFunnels is a more complex sell. On a simpler sell, it's easy. How many of you guys, if I just told you my origin story with Vigon here, if I told you, and I've never had a cold source, this isn't actually true, but if I told you like, look, I've had cold sores in the past. I've used Abreva. I've used things, and nothing ever works. They always last for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. It's horrible. It's painful, like the worst thing in the world. When I found out about this the first time, I tried it. I clicked on the thing. I pulled it out, and I felt it tingling like the first day, but it never came out. It never became a cold sore. It was just gone. Like that was it. And ever since I keep this in my pocket, I take it everywhere I go. And as soon as the cold sore comes out, I hit it. And I haven't had a cold sore actually hit surface since then. How many of you guys, that story alone, have been like, sweet, I'm in? Okay? As someone who suffers cold sores, like our sales video for this is literally that. That's it. This is a $150 machine. It's a video, 2 minutes long, telling an origin story of the person who actually invented it, and that's it. That's all it takes. Okay, so for simple products, one story, the origin story is all you need, and people are in. Okay? But as you get more complex offers, you need more. So what happens is on a more complex offer, they push the domino over, and they're all excited. All of a sudden, they push it, but then like, oh, these 3 things block it. It's like, wait, hold on. I'm in, but, and all of a sudden, these 3 things block it, okay? So these are the 3 things. So the first thing, these we call the 3 core false beliefs. The first thing is their beliefs about the vehicle. Okay, so the vehicle is the thing you're trying to put them into. So for me, the vehicle is funnels. Like this is the world I'm trying to take you guys into. For some of you guys, it's a ketogenic diet. Some of you guys, it's a product that can help you with your cold sores. Like there's some belief about the vehicle they struggle with. The second belief is their own internal beliefs. Like that may be cool, but like I don't think I could do it. Have you guys heard that voice in your head before? That's cool for them, but I don't know if I could do it, right? And then the third false belief is like, well, that's cool. I think I can do it, but like I know that if I start this diet, like I could do it, but my wife's gonna buy cookies anyway, and they're gonna give me the house. There's no way. Like they always blame some external source besides themselves. Okay? So these are the 3 things that keep people from buying from you. Okay? So for me now I move into and I tell a story to try to trump all 3 of those. Okay, and if I can trump all 3 of those beliefs, their beliefs become my beliefs, and they have to buy. They have to follow you. You have to do the thing you need them to do. Okay? So story number 2 then, which in a webinar is the next 15 minutes, is the story about my vehicle. Okay, so same thing, I come back here, I say, okay, what's the chain of false belief they currently have about the vehicle that I'm putting them into? Okay, then what's the experience, like why do they believe that? Then what's the story they're currently telling themselves? And I think, hey, what's my story? Okay, so, you guys will see this video tomorrow. So I got to show them the websites are dead, right? So for me, if I go back to this for myself, right? The false belief is like, well, I already have a website, I'm good, right? Or I sell stuff on Amazon, I'm good. Well, why do you believe that? Well, I tried to build a funnel. It was really complicated. It didn't work. I put myself on Amazon and I make some sales. So it's pretty cool. The story is like, I don't need any complicated stuff. I can just use Amazon, right? So I got to come back. And the story I tell you is like, no, websites are dead. I tell this story. And if I did a good job, boom, it falls down. Okay. So in my funnel hacks webinar that most of you guys have seen, these slides right here are all me telling the story about why this vehicle is the greatest thing in the world. My epiphany bridge story about why I believe that. I tell that story. And the end of it, my goal is something like, oh my gosh, I do need a funnel. If I can get them to say that in their head, I do need a funnel, boom, the internal belief or the vehicle belief is gone, okay? Oh my gosh, I could have success here. Oh my gosh, I could do that thing, okay? So my story trumps theirs. Once again, the domino falls, okay? Now, the next thing, so the first one's the origin story. Second one's the story about their internal, or about the vehicle. The next one now moves down to the internal beliefs. So they say, oh my gosh, you're right, a funnel is amazing, but I can't do it. It becomes internal. I can't do it. I don't have any technical skills. I don't know how to build something. I don't even know what a funnel is, for crying out loud, right? So that's the second story. So now, the third story. So now I come back and I say, okay, what's the false belief? Why do they believe that? Well, they believe that for me, again, I'm talking about my product, but plug in your product for this. For me, it's like, well, I've tried technical stuff in the past. I can't even use Microsoft Word. I'm not gonna be able to build a funnel. That's what they believe. What's the experience? So I tried to do this thing. It didn't work. It was confusing. Like I wasted time, energy. The story is like, I'm not technical. I can't build a funnel. So I got to come in and be like, no, like it's actually really easy. Here's Grant Cardone. This guy is the least technical guy on earth. He built an entire funnel, 40,000 feet in the air. It was super simple, super easy. And they see that and they're like, oh, that actually is really easy. I guess I could do that. So now, boom, 2 things have happened, right? And then here's my slides where I tell that part of the story, okay? So now it's happened. Hopefully a domino fell. If not, then the last leg. So first they say, cool, the vehicle funnels is amazing. And I think I could actually do it, but I don't. And they find the external thing. I don't know how to drive traffic, so I probably couldn't figure it out. Okay, they have some kind of external belief. Okay, so for me, the external belief is, even if I had a funnel, what would I do with it? I don't know how to do it. Like I can't get people to come to the funnel. What's their experience? I had a website before. I spent a ton of money on it. Bought some Google ads. Nobody showed up, and I'm broke. I paid an agency $5,000 and got like 3 visitors. I never made any money, right? They have some experience. The story is, this doesn't work. So I got to tell them my story. So for me, I tell a story about how do we add traffic, and boom. I go through my slides, I tell that part of the story. And if it works, boom, the domino falls, and then they follow me. And for all of you guys who are here, obviously the domino fell. That's why we've got 4,500 amazing people here, because I was able to break the false beliefs that are holding you guys back. Does that make sense? Okay, so after you've told the stories, then the last thing is that you move over to the offer. I tell the stories, I break all the false beliefs, and I move to the offer. I go through the stack and the close, make the special offer, and boom, we got them. Okay, so the framework is simple. There's one big domino. I got to convince them this one thing. For me, I got to convince them that funnels is the greatest thing in the world. For you, whatever your thing is, like you got to convince them that this type of diet, this type of lifestyle, this type of product is the greatest thing in the world. What's the big domino? If you can get them to believe this, then they have to follow you. Figure that out. And then it's come back, hey, why do I believe that? What's my origin story? Why do I actually believe that? And if you don't believe it, you're in the wrong business. Okay, you have to believe it at your depth of your soul if you're going to get people to move with you. Okay, so then you tell your story, and then you're like, okay, now what's the reason? Like, what's the vehicle I'm putting them? What's their false beliefs on that? What's the false beliefs on themselves being able to implement this? What's the false beliefs about the external? You tell those 3 stories, and then you make them the offer. Okay, and that's kind of how it works. All right, now I want to do something for some of you guys who are watching this. Is like, well, Russell, that's awesome for you because you click on Facebook Live and you just go and you have all this energy and you're amazing and you just tell everybody every single time. How many of you guys ever felt that way about me before? You're like, I hate that Russell Brunson. Okay, so I have a special message for all you guys. We're all going to laugh at me together. So I shared this on Instagram, and this is kind of embarrassing, but how many of you guys want to see the very first time I spoke on stage? Look at that good-looking dude, his bald head and his puffy shirt and his tie. All right, so this is the very first time I ever spoke on stage. It's like a 30-second clip. And I'm going through this humiliation to hopefully have some of you guys look at this and be like, oh my gosh, if that guy can do this, guarantee I can do it. So here we go.
But what I wanted to talk about tonight is kind of a broad overview, hopefully help you to get better information out of the whole internet marketing business. This is a lot bigger group than I had planned on.
Oh, that's so embarrassing. All right, so that was the first time I ever spoke. The next day was the first time somebody let me step on their stage, except for it was like carpet, there was no actual stage, and they're like, you can sell something. I'm like, sweet. And so the next day, I had a chance to make my very first offer on stage. And I'm not going to show you guys the whole thing because it's really like the very beginning, as I transitioned to me trying to sell, I was like, how much do you guys think I'm going to sell this for? And some guy was like, $1,000. And I was like, oh crap, I'm actually selling it for $1,000. I was like, well, it was so bad. Oh, anyway, so you guys are going to see my closing abilities, round 1. Here we go. Okay, am I getting close on time? If you do join the affiliate bootcamp, it'll give you lifelong training. It's a $47 a month value. You'll get it for free. Who would like a piece of that? Here's my irresistible offer. And hopefully you guys learned a lot from this presentation.
Give him a standing ovation. He did a great job.
Look at this. Nobody stands up. Not one person. Who wants a piece of that? The greatest close of all time. All right. So I share that for any of you guys who are just like, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm shy. I'm awkward. I'm nervous. Like, I promise you, I was shy. I was awkward. I'm nervous. I still am. I still struggle. But when you believe in what it is you have to sell, you believe what you're doing, like you just keep doing it and keep doing it. And you get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And it didn't take 15 years, right? Every single time I got better and a couple more people started listening. A couple more people started listening. It started growing and started growing and started growing. The biggest thing, you have to start. You have to start telling the stories. You can't wait. Like, oh, I'm going to start stories next month, next week, next year. Okay, it's like, no, start today. Can you guys have a phone again? No one's raising their hand. How many of you guys have a phone in your pocket right now? Okay. You have no excuse. If you want to do a podcast, there's a podcast app. You click on it, you talk, and then you click a button, and it's on iTunes that fast. You want to do a video, you click a button, and then you're on Facebook Live in 5 seconds. Or Instagram. Like, you have no excuses. But Russell, no one's following me. Like, exactly. That's the best thing about it at the beginning. Who was there for that event when I spoke? None of you guys were there. Other than all you guys now saw. But none of you were there, right? Do you guys understand? Like, Just start. Your people will find you. As you find your voice, your people will find you. But you cannot find your voice until you start, until you begin, until you start moving forward. Okay? And if I would have started that journey 15 years ago, none of you guys would be here today. Okay? And if I could go back to that awkward, nerdy Russ with a shaved head and a tie who was scared to death of getting on stage, sitting behind like scared to death, and I could go back to him right now and grab him and say, look, dude, I know this is uncomfortable and it's horrible and it's miserable and you are scared and you are going to fail and you're going to fail and you're going to fail. And not 1 year or 2 years, it's going to be like a decade of this. But in a decade from now, you're going to have a chance to come on stage in front of 4,500 people. You're going to have an opportunity and a voice to be able to change their lives if you don't stop. I would hope that I would have listened. Thank you. The biggest thing is I can't have you guys stopping. Okay, I was telling Brandon Poland this yesterday. I saw him at the Inner Circle dinner. 4 Funnel Hacking Lives ago, the second Funnel Hacking Live, he was sitting down. I'd never met him before. And during one of the roundtables, he came over. He's like, hey, man, really quick, I need to interrupt. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, just so you know, you've changed my life. You changed my wife's life. I was like, oh, cool, thank you. He's like, no, you don't understand. Like, he's like, he's like, we're helping people. We're making money. Like, everything's changed for us. Okay, and I was like, that's amazing. Right? And Brandon was one person in the audience. Him and his wife were sitting there. Okay, fast forward 4 years now later. Kaylin's unfortunately not here. She had her first baby, which congratulations to the Poland family. It's amazing. Fast forward 4 years later, because Kaylin kept talking and sharing your message over and over and over again. And like 1.5 million people have come into their funnels. Over 130,000 women's lives have been changed because of them. Okay, they're making insane amounts of money, but the impact they're having on the world is huge because they were sitting in an audience, they heard us talk about this, and then they just did it. Okay, so for me and for my team, I had this talk to them yesterday before we got started. I said, look, there's a sea of people out here. Every single one of them has the voice and the ability to change somebody's lives, and if we can't affect them, then everything we're doing here is a waste. This event's not about me, it's not about us, not about my team, it's about each and every one of you guys. Okay, and we're trying to give you the tools and the things you need, but you have to listen and you have to be willing to try it. And it's gonna be scary at first, I promise you that. It's still scary to me. I was backstage here freaking out a few minutes ago. Okay, I feel more comfortable now, luckily. We have to understand, like, it's gonna be scary, but if you don't do it, if you don't take that step, you're not gonna be here next year. Okay, and I don't want you just here next year, I want you up here next year. I want you telling your story, getting your awards. That's why we do this every single day. Okay, all right, a couple more things. All right, just so you guys understand, again, if you're selling a product, you don't have to do this huge thing. Like, the simpler the product, the easier it is. For example, do you guys see that picture right there? You see that marker in my hand? Okay, if I was gonna say, how many of you guys would give me, I don't know, $5 for this marker right now? A couple of you guys. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys a story about this marker. I'm gonna tell you a story, and the story will increase the value of this marker, okay? So a couple of, when we first were starting to do events, I remember I would show up and they always have those like little narrow whiteboards and they're like vertical. And when you draw funnels aren't vertical, right? So you're like, page number 1, page number, you're like, I'm out of space. Like, you flip it and it's like horrible to diagram of funnels, right? And I would do that, I'd be flipping it over. I had these little tiny markers and they're like little tiny and like, you couldn't see it very far and it just felt weak. And then I went to a Tony Robbins event. And Tony had a board like this. And then he pulls out this marker, and Tony's hands are like this big anyway. And he pulls out this marker and he unsheaths it. Whoa. He walks over to the whiteboard and he starts doing this thing. And he's like, just like doing X's and like circles and like was making no sense whatsoever, but it looked so cool. And I remember I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And so when we started doing Funnel Hacking Lives, first off, Tony had a board like this wide. We need a board like that. And I tried for like years to try to find one. I remember one day I was like complaining to Melanie, who's my assistant. I was like, Melanie, like he must have custom built this thing. And then she's like in Google or doing some magic. And like 5 minutes later, she's like, found it. I'm like, what? The next thing we know, we had this board here. And then like I do the boards the very first time. I have these little tiny markers. And I'm like, I feel so weak. Like I want to feel like Tony. I need like a man marker. And so she starts Googling and she finds some markers, ship them. I'm like, no, these are good, but like I need like Tony man markers. And so finally she finds these things. And look at this thing, like this thing is amazing. And so these are now my man markers. And I will not speak at events. When I travel to events, I bring my man markers because I don't want to be on stage like the little dainty ones. And so I have these huge man markers. And so I've got red man markers, blue man markers, black man markers. And I only have 3 of them here right now. How many of you guys want a man marker? I can't sell these. We have to have these for the rest of the event. But you see how a story increases the value? That's what I'm talking about. Like you tell a good story, it increases the value of whatever you're selling. So you have to become better at telling stories. You have to be better at making offers, better at telling stories, because both those things intrinsically increase the value of what it is you're trying to sell, okay? Now, when you're selling more complex offers, that's when you need to have a bigger thing. We're having internal beliefs, the vehicle, internal, external. The more complex the product is, the longer the sales process is, okay? All right, so for you guys, your homework as well in your paper here is start writing down, you just need to start building a story inventory. What are all the false beliefs that my customers have? And start writing those things down, like, and then why do they believe that? What's the story they're telling themselves? And then what story do I have that would trump their belief? Okay, I've been telling this ever since Expert Secrets came out almost 2 years ago. I've been talking about this over and over and over again, right? Very few people do it. But guess what? I know the people that are doing it. I'm watching them. I'm watching their storytelling. I'm watching what they're doing. I'm watching the process. Okay, I do this all the time. When I got started, Dan Kennedy told me this. He's like, you need to build an inventory of stories. And I heard that, and instead of doing what most people did, said, that's a good idea. I said, Dan said it. I must do it. I got a pad of paper. I was like, what stories do I have? And I had nothing. I had a potato gun story. That was it. So I wrote my potato gun story. I'm like, that's all I got. But now I had my notebook with my potato gun story, and I started thinking, okay, as I start talking, start doing my thing, something amazing happened in my life. I'm like, that could be a story. Write it down. And I go to the next thing. Something's happened. Something happened. Also like, oh my gosh, that could be a story. Write it down. Okay, it could be a story. Write it down. Could it be a story? And next thing I know, I can stand on stage for 90 minutes and tell 400 stories without even knowing about it, right? It comes down to just telling story after story after story. But you have to start that now. Okay, so if you have your phone, open up a note section, say, my story inventory. And as you are living life, every time something's happening, don't be like, oh, that was cool. Be like, oh, that was cool. How does that relate to my customers? Oh my gosh, if I sold this, like that's how it relates. Boom. Okay? How many thought I could tell a story about a marker and make it relevant to you somehow? Yet I did, right? Okay, it's all about that. Okay, hook, story, offer. Okay, I'm gonna go to the last steps. We talked about offer. We talked about story. The last piece in this is the hook. Okay, so what is the hook? To understand this really well, I want you guys to imagine what happened right before you probably came into this room. You were in the bathroom, and you were sitting kind of like this. And most of you had your phones, and you're going like this. So what a hook is, it's the thing that makes you stop. Like, whoa, that's a hook. This is how I judge my hooks. I imagine all of you guys swiping, and what's going to make you like, whoa, hold on. All right, I got to finish so I can find out what that thing is, okay? This is literally what's happening. In case you're wondering, like, oh, no, my customers don't do that. They do. I was in the airport 2 days ago. I walk into the airport, and for the women, I'm so sorry that you have to find out about how gross and disgusting men are. But there's a dude swiping while he's, and I was like, seriously, like, put it in your pocket for 30 seconds? It doesn't take that long. It was just amazing. Like, that's what they're doing, okay? And so you had to imagine this is what's happening in today's world. Okay, it's not they're sitting their desktop, like, studying you and reading things, excuse me, and researching. What's happening is this. And so they're flipping through their phone, and they're seeing their friends and their pictures and their profiles and their cat videos and thing after thing after thing after thing. And your ad has a shot in there for like 1 second. Probably less, in the middle of this scroll, okay? And if you don't stop them right there and they don't say, hold on, put the phone down, I gotta come back and check this out, you failed, okay? The hook is the key. Without a good hook, nobody will ever hear your story. Without a good story, no one will care about your offer, okay? Now the hook in and of itself does not increase the value, okay? The hook does not increase the value of what it is you're selling. What the hook does is it grabs your attention long enough that they'll listen to your story. The story increases the value, and then the offer increases the value. The hook grabs them just long enough you can tell them the story, okay? So every story you have has multiple hooks, okay? This is why it's so important for you guys to be publishing and putting things out there all the time, because I have no idea what hooks are gonna land, which ones are people gonna resonate with, and which ones don't, okay? I was at a retreat, like a mastermind group with Brendan Bouchard and Dean Graciosi and a bunch of really cool people, both of who are going to be here this weekend speaking with you guys. It's going to be amazing. And we're sitting around the campfire, and Dean told this story that was so good. He said, essentially, if you look at a comedian, you see them on like the Tonight Show, and they pick up the microphone, they do their thing, and they do the thing, and they land it, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is the funniest person on earth. And so you don't understand is like the comedian just get up there and like do his thing. What happened is like 2 years prior, he got a job. He went to a dive bar over here. He wrote 10 jokes, got in front of like 30 people. And he tried his thing, and he tried it. And he told joke 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And like one of the 10 jokes landed. He's like, okay, that joke was good. The rest were horrible. Goes back to his apartment, writes 9 new jokes, got 10 new jokes, goes next dive bar, gets in front of it. Boom, he does it. Nails the first jokes. He knows it's amazing. Nails the other 9. Like 2 of the the other 9 work, right? Now he's got 3 good jokes. Then he goes back, rewrites the other 7, comes back the next night, boom, and he keeps doing it until he knows he's got 10 of the most amazing jokes in the world. Then he gets on the big stage and performs, and every single joke lands. Okay, it's the same thing what we're doing right now. I have no idea what hooks are gonna work, right? So what do? When I hear a story in the morning, I jump on my phone, I get my phone out as I'm driving to the office, and half of you guys are like, Russell, don't drive while you're podcasting. It's like a block, and there's no anything anywhere. I wish I could show people that. Anyway, whatever. So I'm doing my thing, talking, and I tell a story, right? That's my first time. Then I come in, I see Dave, and Dave's like, oh, and I'm like, oh. I'm like, I tell your story. I tell Dave the story, right? I tell a little differently this time. And I'm like, okay, that worked. Like, it made sense. He got excited. And I go out to the bullpen and all the marketing teams, and I tell them the story, right? And then I jump on a Facebook Live. I tell the story that I tell it 4 or 5 times, so I know how to tell the story. I see what lands. I see what hooks, got people interested. Or if I tell a story and Dave's like, oh, that's really cool. I'm like, crap. Dave's not flipping out is not a good story, right? And that's how we know. So it's testing these things, testing it. Okay, so when you have a story, it's like you're putting out different hooks. Like, which are the hooks that people are grabbing onto? What are the ones that are interesting? What ones do people actually pay attention to? Like, cool, now we'll build things bigger on those, okay? But you gotta be practicing stuff all the time, okay? Because if you're like, this business has to work, it's gotta be perfect, it's like, I don't wanna screw this up, so I'm gonna wait until I tell my story, I'm gonna wait. It's the equivalent of walking up on the Tonight Show and be like, I've never tested this material, let's go. You would never do that, right? Yeah, we do in our businesses all the time. You can't do that. You got to be telling the stories, okay? Every single one of you guys in here should be Facebook Living your experience today. Like, seriously, like, if you're not, like, why did you waste that experience? There's some story that will impact you today, if not me, by somebody else, that affects your life and your customers directly, and you better be talking about that tonight when you get home. Either podcasting, video, Facebook Live, something to start practicing. It begins tonight. Doesn't begin mañana, because mañana never comes, okay? All right, so how do you find the hooks that you want to model? So next time you guys are doing this, and you shouldn't do this, like, it's really disgusting, but maybe you're at your desk doing this. As you're scrolling through, look at the stuff that stops you. Okay? Look at the stuff that stops you, like, why did that hook work? What was it? Okay, the 30 Days book was not my idea. Someone else had a 30 Days thing in another industry. I was like, that's a good idea. He hooked it over there, I'm gonna hook it over here. Because it made me stop. Okay? Now after you find an ad, instead of just looking at it like, that's a really good ad, then you go to the ad, and Facebook has done the coolest thing in the world now. There's a little tab here that says ads and info. You click on it, and it literally shows you every single hook that person is running right now. So if you clicked on that right now, you would see, here's a couple of the hooks that Russell and John and the team are currently running. Russell, that's a lot of ads. Yeah, we're throwing out insane amounts of hooks every single day. Go look at the thing, look at all the ads, and start studying, and start looking, start geeking out. Okay? It's a lot of ads. How many do we have on here? All right. Now, I was doing this last night. Like 1 a.m, I started working on the slides. I was like, how do I really sink this in? And I started thinking about the 2 Comma Club winners, the 2 Comma Club X winners. I was like, I'm going to show just examples of some of these, right? Because you hear these people all the time, right? You see their pictures, you hear the stories, you're like, this is amazing. I want 2 Comma Club. But how many guys have actually looked at the hooks that they're throwing out? Okay? If they're in the 2 Comma Club, 2 Comma Club X, it means they are insanely good at hook, story, offer. Otherwise, they would not be here, right? So we should be looking at. So I started looking at. I'm just gonna pull a couple random people. So the first one I pull here is Drew. Is Drew in the room right now? I think he is. All right. So this is this is amazing. So Drew runs a company called Fit to Fat to Fit. Have you guys seen his ads before? So Drew is a personal trainer who is ripped and amazing. I might be telling the story wrong. It's awkward. He's in the room, so hopefully I tell it right. But he was like ripped and amazing, and his clients were like, well, you've never been fat, so you don't know what it's like. And he's like, oh yeah? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get fat, super fat. So he gained a whole bunch of weight to prove to everyone. He went from being fit to getting really, really fat and then losing all the weight again. Okay, probably not healthy, like in retrospect, I'm guessing, but that is an amazing hook. So you see, here's like 1,000 different weight loss offers out there. Like, hey, I'm sexy, I'm ripped. And you see Drew sitting here with Jay Leno, and he's like, I went from being fit to fat to fit, and it shows the before and after. It's like, that hook is amazing. Okay? Boom, 2 Comma Club X winner. Okay? This is Natalie. How many of you guys remember Natalie Hodson from last year? There's Natalie right here. Okay? 2 Comma Club winner. She's getting close to 2 Comma Club X. Same thing, right? Now, what's interesting, so Natalie's business prior to this was a good business, right? She had good hooks, good story, good offer. It was doing well, but never like amazing, right? But then she came back and she's like, okay, what's the hook? What's the story? Like, what is it? And she shifted from her other business that was doing okay to this. And you guys remember Natalie's story? She talked about vulnerability last year. She talked about how she was doing this live video and she peed her pants during it, which is like the most humiliating thing ever, right? And then she turned that into a product, teaching women how to control that, and went from 0 to 2 Combo Cup winner in 4 months. Because the hook, right? Find a better hook. Again, if your funnel's not working, it's always either a hook, a story, or an offer. Okay? That hook's amazing. Her story is insane, and the offer was amazing. $1 million in 4 months. Okay? Garrett White there in the middle. Here's the landing page I found of his, one of my favorite landing pages. How's this for a hook? Attention, married businessmen. Learn how to unlock Learn how to unlock nearly unlimited sex, power, and money without having to cheat on your wife, get a divorce, ignore your children, leave your church, date with drugs, or party like a rock star in Las Vegas. What? How do you not click on that as a man? I can have everything I want in life without all the bad stuff. This is amazing, right? He's a master at hooks. If you look at anybody in this clubs, right? Anyone who's on stage, people that are doing what you want to do, you guys, they're amazing at hook, story, offer. And if you want to be on stage, you have to become better at hook, story, and offer. Okay? So as you're telling your story, you start building inventory. What are the hooks I can test out? Test out this, test out this. And my question is, how many hooks are you guys actually throwing out? You need to be throwing out a lot. Okay? Hook, story, offer. And then one last thing I want to kind of show you guys is if you look at this hook, story, offer, this is happening at every single step in your funnel. Okay? Your ads, there's a hook, a story, and an offer in your ad. Someone's scrolling, there's a hook, you're telling a quick story, you make an offer, click here, there's the offer. Then they come to your landing page, there's a hook, there's a story, there's an offer. Then they come, they buy your product, hook, story, offer, upsell, hook, story, offer. Like this framework is essential for you guys to master. It's so simple. That's why I want to start today with it's so simple, but it's the most important thing. You do it over and over and over and over again. If something is not working inside your funnel, it's always either your hook, your story, or your offer. Okay, I don't care what funnel it is. We're going to learn about a ton of funnel types this weekend. Okay, you're going to learn about challenge funnels and summit funnels and book funnel, a ton of funnels. Doesn't matter which one it is. This framework fits into every one of these funnels. Okay, and the last one to mention is the hook, story, offer. This is the key. Hook, story, offer is the thing that grabs somebody, brings them into your world, and after you have them, the next phase then is how do we increase the value? How do we help these people along the line? Okay, in the books you guys got yesterday, I actually printed out a copy of our value ladder. So you guys see, this is our value ladder. And the person speaking after me is Stacy Martino. I'm so excited to have her. She's going to be, yeah, you guys are going to love Stacy. But she is a master at taking people up the value. Like, how do you take people, after you've hooked them and you got them into your world, how do you love them and give them enough value they want to continue to progress with you throughout everything else you're doing?
So that, my friends, is the Hook Story Offer course. And you also can find a copy of that course when you go into the certification, and you're able to watch that course as well. And you don't have to hear my beautiful interjection of the opportunity. He also has Expert Evolution as well as Traffic Secret Masterclass when you get started here with the OfferLab VIP bonuses. Now, how long will the bonuses be available? That part we don't know. So, to take action is something that's encouraged. So to, kind of give you a broader view of, everything that was discussed or what have you, and talking about the consulting with, just the growing of the brand, you have 4 different ways to connect with Adriane Mays, your AI cash story captain, to be able to help you with your process. So OfferLab is free to sign up. If you go to the link that I'm putting into the comments here as well, or if you go to, the one that's on the screen, gets you into the funnel. But being able to get started with OfferLab is free. So you're able to get into the marketplace, be able to collaborate, be able to take the direction that you're wanting to go. And maybe you're not ready to build your billionaire brand as of yet, in regards to investing in that opportunity, which is fine. OfferLab has a marketplace where you're able to be an affiliate. If you don't have your own offer, you can actually be able to find other offers and bundle them together. And with you actually following Adriane Mays at Adriane Mays, I'll be able to help you in regards to the growth of your billionaire brand. Because again, the OfferLab Road to certification course is being able to review these different offers and opportunities that's available in OfferLab. So that way, getting in with the ground up, you're able to kind of grow it and build along the way as well. When you do it, so you can actually have the opportunity to go through the certification and get this training yourself in regards to taking a look at the Russell Brunson, part of the AI Cash Story Dream Team, and connecting. So you have one-on-one Adriane consulting. I have opportunity right now for $297 one time, which is a 2-hour actual consultation. It's $150 an hour right now as well until the time changes. And so the AI Cash Story Ultimate Offer, I wanted to go through this opportunity because this is the ultimate offer in order to help you build your billionaire brand. So, it's good to have some of the pieces, right? Even having the consultation with me, having, going into the certification. But if you want to have the ultimate offer opportunity, it includes a conglomerate of things that will allow you to build your billionaire brand. So the next step for me is to build the webinar out. Now that I have an offer, doing the research, have the hook story offer, put everything together. And I'm using Jason Fladian's Go Webinars framework as well. So, and the ultimate offer includes having OfferLab certification course, just a snippet that you were provided today with Russell Brunson in his actual course. Passion Over Profits Coaching, they too are a part of OfferLab. Daniel Chu and Nathan Bokers are amazing, and being able to have mentors that will help you coach you on your way, as well as having an opportunity to set up your digital storefront, ask questions, get with millionaires that are part of the 2 Comma Club and connected with Russell Brunson and the AI Cash Story Dream Team. It's amazing opportunity. The AI Freedom Launchpad with Jonathan Montoya, he too is a part of OfferLab, right? So getting close to these millionaires and billionaires and being able to help yourself along the way, but being introduced to AI, how it can impact your business, how it can impact your life. That's the piece with Jonathan Montoya's Freedom Launchpad. Doing with the same thing in the process. I currently have a process with Go High Level, and I have one with Funnel Freedom. So within the ultimate offer, 3 months of Go High Level or Funnel Freedom is included, which allows you to build your funnels, build your system, build your emails, build your membership, build your courses, whatever you would like to do in regards to the direction of your business. These are 2 options that you have to be able to do that I'm using as well. Go Webinars with Jason Fladian, the plug and play method as well. Like now that I have my offer that I want to actually promote, the ultimate offer with Adriane May's AI Cash Story Captain, then now I'm going to take that and be able to put a webinar together. And so when I was in coaching with Jonathan Montoya's team, was shared with me, you don't automate your webinar until you actually start to secure your ideal sales. So you want to do the work, go through the trainings, and that's with the Go Webinars, the plug and play system. You're able to kind of have that game plan for you. Billy Jean's 10-day AI business plan. If you don't have a plan, and AI is amazing, he introduces you to ChatGPT as well as Go High Level. So this is a great investment and concluded to have the #1 AI marketing in the world, Billy Jean, and having it just an introduction to his actual experience as a coach, as a team. And a one-on-one strategy session with myself, Adriane Mays, and having access to the AI Cash Story Dream Team that I'm going through with you, and having this series that you'll be able to get a copy of a copy of this video, which is the Road to Certification video, a copy of the different courses that are engaging along the way, and any offers that actually are built with the AI Cash Story Captain Adriane Mays to help people build their billionaire brand. You'll have an affiliate of growth of process with them as well as I continue to grow and build these different things that I'm doing in marketing. So that understand that the whole idea is not to have to do it alone. So with the live virtual conversations and being able to help people, hopefully you're able to actually learn this, get something from this information. I have the next live virtual conversation here on Tuesdays, which is every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is different from the OfferLab opportunity that is going to, virtual conversations. And so the difference with it being is these are my live Tuesdays that have been going on since May 6, 2025. And I highlight different entrepreneurs so they don't get hit behind the algorithm. So with Russell Brunson releasing this OfferLab opportunity, it was just like God designed. And so being able to show people that have a story, like he was shared with you, and being able to show them a direction within this, that's why I'm taking the live virtual conversations to the next step, to be able to help people to, with their story, and now have a marketplace to be able to showcase that information. So just to recap, because anytime that you actually watch one of these videos, I suggest that you take notes. So the AI Cash Story Dream Team Hook Story Offer course by Russell Brunson. And this is going to be included within the actual course that you receive when you actually get involved with the Ultimate Offer with Adriane Mays. So, the Hook Story Offer course by Brunson is one of the most foundational trainings for anyone in digital marketing, especially creators, coaches, entrepreneurs, or who want to sell more without sounding salesy. So here's a clear, concise overview of what the course is about. So it's created by Russell Brunson, the founder of ClickFunnels, and it teaches you the core marketing framework used by top entrepreneurs to grab attention, build emotional connection, and sell any product or service, or online or offline. So the core concept that was discussed here today was Hook Story Offer. Hook is how do you stop the scroll and grab attention with a headline, image, email subject, thumbnails, etc. Your story, how you emotionally connect with your audience by telling a relatable or transformational story. And offer, how you present your product as a solution to their problem in a way that makes them say yes. So what you've learned today in watching this video is how to write scroll stopping hooks for ads, social posts, webinars, and emails, how to structure and tell your personal story so it leads naturally into a sale, how to craft an irresistible offer that people feel stupid to saying no, the psychology behind why people buy, as well as real examples and breakdown from Russell's 8- and 9-figure campaign. So this is for any coach, creator, and consultant, entrepreneur launching offers, anyone who wants to sell more storytelling and building their actual brand. And why it works is this formula is responsible for hundreds of millions of dollars in sales across industries. So it's the simplest way to convert strangers into loyal buyers using storytelling instead of pressure. So Russell Brunson has used it to sell books, software like ClickFunnels, high-ticketed coaching events, and even generate $1 million in leads. So Hook Story Offer is his timeless framework for crafting messages. And today in the actual video, some of the names that were actually, let me read it. Hook Story Offer is Russell Brunson's timeless proven framework for crafting messages that convert. Whether you're writing a Facebook post, launching a webinar, or build a sales funnel, this course shows you how to grab attention, build trust, and get the sale. So people noted names that he mentioned through the actual training today. Claude Hopkins, which is the scheme man who created offers, and that was what he did, and the basis of marketing. Jason Fladian, who I share with you, is also the greatest of all time in webinars, and part of the AI Cash Story Ultimate Offer. Alice Hermosi, he owns schools. So again, I showcased you that that right now on school, OfferLab is on school. So they support each other, and over 7,000 different members are on OfferLab, and this is the community for offer creators, affiliates, and funnel builders to plan and plot world domination. So again, Alice Hermosi owns school, and OfferLab is on school, which is what? Connecting billionaires to billionaires. So you want to be able to be a part of the solution there. Myron Golden, he mentioned, and Myron Golden as well as like I mentioned, $155,000 per person for a weekend. Come on, that's where you want to go. Jamie Curtis, she was actually mentioned in the training as well. A soap entrepreneur that was able to monetize herself into a millionaire in less than 4 months. Steven Larson, who was he's an affiliate as well as part of ClickFunnels, and he was mentioned during the course. Grant Cardone, the billionaire, real estate billionaire, was mentioned as simple and easy that it is to use something called a funnel to be able to guide more people throughout the process. Steven Larson Tony Robbins was mentioned as well, the guru of coaching and mindset and taking action. Dan Kennedy was mentioned, because again, him being the background of Hook Story Offer for Russell Brunson was mentioned. Brenda Richard, who is a powerhouse mentor that actually he was affiliated with and introduced with me with Kajabi. And so he was a part of the whole coaching process of growing my digital brand. And Dean Graziowski, amazing entrepreneur that was mentioned as well in the actual Russell Brunson course. So how much money you make is 100. These are key points that was mentioned. How much money you make is 100% tied to how much value you give. Increase the value to your offer by building the experience. People will spend more money for the same product packaged a different way. What are potential products you could create to inside of your offer? Physical product, bundle information around it to make it better. Be creative, bundle products together. Brainstorm ideas, then pull things over to make an amazing offer. Stories increase the value. So for someone to change their destiny, they have to make a decision. For them to make a decision, they have to change their state. For someone to change their state, they have to change their story. So that was a key statement that I'm going to put in the comments here again, because again, that is the basis. You have to have people change their story and change their state in order for them to actually grow and move forward with you in regards to the process. So we talked about the Epiphany Bridge story. So your first story is the first 15 minutes of your webinar. So how did you find out this thing? Explain why this thing is the greatest thing in the world. So this is called building your domino statement, right? So if the domino doesn't fall, the false beliefs, 3 things that keep people from buying from you: the vehicle, the internal beliefs, the external beliefs. And then story number 2, story about the vehicle, experience. Why do they believe that? Story number 3 is story about the internal beliefs. Why do they believe that? And the domino still doesn't fall. You go with the story about the external beliefs. So change the false beliefs, experience, story, new epiphany, bridge. So you want to change people's story. And why do you believe that? What's your origin story? Tell your story, and what's the beliefs that make them offer. So how would you piece all of that together? Is having a value, having a story, and being able to. One other thing that I'll mention here, we talked about, again, the hook that will get people to stop in regards to their scroll, and then making sure that ad library is a plethora of hooks and stories. So I'll show you how this works. You literally go to facebookadslibrary.com, facebook.com/adslibrary, and I'll put this here in the comments. And you can find all different types of powerful hooks. One person I can think of right now, I think she's doing things, the AI Queen or something like that. Let me see, AI Queen. I'm trying to remember her name. Queen of AI. She's marketing a lot on Facebook. I should have put in. Let me just put in Russell. Just make it easier. Okay, so here you can find different hooks for your actual brand. So Russell Brunson, any ads that he's running, you can come to the link that's there on the screen, and you can be able to find hooks for your favorite people. So, for example, Russell Brunson, you didn't become a coach to waste months building something nobody buys, or to throw money at ads that eat your budget with nothing to show for it. That's his hook. The truth, you don't have a marketing problem. You have an offer problem. Most coaches skip the first step, building a clear, irresistible offer that makes people lean in and say, I need this. And then it goes into prime mover mentoring. We're reverse engineering what's working right now. 6 and 7 figure coaches and built into a simple 3-step framework. Because when your offer is right, everything else gets easier. See, that's his hook right there. I like that. Ads convert, clients buy, growth feels simple. Stop guessing and start building the foundation that actually scales. So, you have that's kind of, I like that, Russell. So that's the ad that he has running right now. And again, because when your offer is right, everything else gets easier. Ads convert, clients buy, growth feels simple. And you would take that and put that into your spreadsheet of having, keeping different hooks and offers. I keep a Google spreadsheet that allows me to be able to keep everything organized. Okay, so that was a lot, I know. I wanted to provide that information and insight on OfferLab, in regards to a training and a benefit of getting a part of the certification, and what I'm going through a process as well. When you actually go through, you have to watch this and start learning and listening, and you can watch it and get a review from me. So if I have to give you a thumbs up of the ultimate review, that's this here, the OfferLab Road to Certification. So live, we watched the Hook Story Offer course by Russell Brunson, went through a couple of notes and tidbits, and drop in the comments or the replay if there's something that about the hook, the story, the offer, the origin story, or just building your billionaire brand that you have questions on. Adriane Mays will answer those live in regards to that whole process. So like I said, I watched this last night, and I'll end with this. That's what gave me the great idea of being able to have the live virtual conversations version for OfferLab. There's over 7,000 members here in OfferLab. And what we do, and what I'm going to do, is reach out. As you can see, you can chat with each one of them and reach out to them and see if they want to actually share their story and find out what made them become a part of OfferLab. And, that way it's a simple chat. You go through, you see the different people that are actually a part of it. You have an online business and personal development coach, affiliate marketing, an entrepreneur. There's 7,000 people. So therefore, everybody is not on the same page with digital marketing. So introducing myself and just asking them the simple question, and they're from all over, right? Geneva, Switzerland. Here's Adriane Mays, yay. And so being able to help people, help CEOs, coaches, consultants, creators turn their live stories into automated income without complicated tech using super funnels and AI webinars. That's what I'm going to help people do. And so this journey is just getting started, helping people along the way. But you go where you're wanted, right? You go where people need help. And I definitely, during the coaching calls and going through the training, people do, they need help. So that's what I'm going to be here for, with the ultimate offer with Adriane Mays. So keep going. Hopefully you got some value out of this video. This video will be able to be found again in the OfferLab Road to Certification course that I'm putting together live. I can, I will, I shall be victorious. Why not go Detroit, Michigan? Let's go. Deuces.